Hello, baby. I'm thinking of a number.
I'm thinking of a number. That's crazy. What's your number? How do you do that? Okay, let's break down. How do you do the impression?
Okay, here we go.
Because of course everyone knows we're talking about the hit movie. Not Lenny. Sorry, that's another movie. We're talking about Maestro.
What's Lenny? Is that another Leonard Bernstein movie?
No, it's about Lenny Bruce, the comedian.
Oh, you mean
Yeah.
the guy played by that one guy in
But this one he's played by
Marvelous Miss Mabel?
I think it's Dustin Hoffman. Yeah, it's Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman, 1974.
How about Dusty? Hot man. It's just what you say when it's the desert. It's dusty and hot, man.
What other names are things you say when you're at places?
There's Al Pacino, which is what you say. Ow, my chinos, and that's what.
I thought Al Pacino is when you are in the mountain range in Europe, and you're with you're wearing, I guess, cotton twill trousers. I guess
that's true. Yeah, so it's either Alp. Where's the just Alp, comma a chino? Is that what that is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. But
I
anyway,
tend to think of like pal, a pal, like that's when your friend is Chinese.
It's two. Oh, there you go.
We're not even 2 minutes in, man.
And we're already this is gonna be.
Someone give a call for this. There's someone you gotta get on the phone, right?
There is a person we need to
ring.
get on the phone, and it is of course
Hang up the
Leonard
phone
Bernstein.
right now.
Why did they call me?
Because he wants
No
to do
one's
the
ever
number
gonna know
game
what
with
that
you.
is.
Yeah.
How do you spell that? With what characters?
There you go, wingdings. People listen to fucking Comedy Bang Bang.
That's right. If you listen to us, you listen to Comedy Bang Bang. That's the rule.
It is one
that's
rule.
That's how it works.
New rule.
One rule.
What if we got
Bill Mayer?
Bill Mayer on this, or John Mayer?
Bill-
We could get.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We
How
could get him
about
for like
John
a round
Major?
table.
How about Jonathan
wait.
Majors?
Oh, no.
Okay, hold on. Let's get a round table discussion between Bill Mayer, John Mayer, and then Jonathan Majors. And then can we get? Is there like a major, like someone in the military, like a major that we can get in there? That
Major
kinda,
Tom, the subject of that one song.
the song, the fictional astronaut from the David Bowie song. I think we could get him.
Right. Yeah. Who's played him?
Wasn't there a Major Tom movie? I feel like everyone's gonna know I'm a fake Bowie
Major
head.
Tom. I don't know what that is. Major Tom.
It
Coming
was
home.
of course just a persona of David Bowie, Mr. Bowie himself. So we
Bowie.
could here's what we could do.
Okay.
And it looks like
tell
he's got
me.
a sweater. We get a like a medium, and then we get David Bowie on the podcast.
Like the website where people can submit their own articles for you.
Yeah. We get the founder of Medium on there, and we talk about
Okay.
the democratization of that word of publishing. You know.
That's right.
Oh, boy.
That's where people always publish. Not no offense to people, but I'm like, oh yeah, I write articles in Medium. I go, okay.
Yeah. It's like anyone could do that. That's just
Yeah.
So,
Do you think Substack has stolen the Medium thing?
Well, now, yeah, because the Substack is where you go if you're really good, because then people want to pay you.
That's
Unless
right.
you're one of those free Substacks, and I'm like, who cares?
You might as well be on Medium. That's what
I
you're
mean,
saying.
here's if someone said, I used to publish on Medium, but I got really good, and now I publish on Large. Do you think you would be a little bit more impressed?
I don't know what that is actually.
It's just like
What's
Medium, but better. It's because it's large. Yep.
Oh my god, I can't believe I fell for that one.
Yeah, there you go. It's my new idea for a website. Honestly, I think we could pull this off.
It's a big idea. I remember, trivia. This is like completely off topic.
This is off the
completely,
record
but,
too.
Yeah, off the dome, off the record, off the
Ooh.
hook. But the guy was like, "Yeah, I did some lighthouse keeping over the weekend." I go, "Lighthouse keeping?" And then he was like, "No, like I did like some small chores around the house." And I'm like, "Okay."
Less
I
interesting.
really wanted him. Yeah, I really
should've
wanted
just-
him to do a thing.
You should, yeah, he didn't know how to riff. That's his problem. I saw something on Twitter where it was a conservative guy that was getting mad at everyone making the same joke in his comments, and he was just saying, it's like, this is clearly some sort of coordinated effort. There's some sort of power behind this that's trying to take me down. And I'm like, this is just people riffing. Like, you just don't know what riffing is on like one joke, you know?
I think that's kind of a fun way to live. Imagine if you went to an improv, like you were just happened to be around improvisers, and they were just like,
you were just in Chicago,
up
let's say,
yeah, and then and you were like, what the fuck is this place, man?
It's
This
like, wait, do you guys?
attempt.
Yeah, it's like, are you guys all like doing this on purpose? You guys are saying ridiculous things. I don't get it.
Are you lying?
We remember that bad improv show that we went to? Like, we should go back, and then, like, you know, they have the taxi cab thing, and we just kept saying, like, we should just sit in the front row and be like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You're not even in a car. You're not actually going anywhere. Don't you realize that?
Just be one of those. Just like, what the hell?
It's like, wait, this guy just said he's... Wait, what were the characters that they had on there? I don't remember. The two gay guys that were
conservatives, yeah.
But they weren't too conservative because the improvisers didn't want to express those views even as a joke.
Yeah, they were very careful not to get canceled for their fake characters that they are portraying.
Yeah, I remember the taxi driver was, of course, like a CIA agent, or was she Australian or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, either CIA or Australian, one of those two.
This anecdote doesn't really help anyone at all, actually.
No, but I'm just saying, imagine a really bad improv show where people are pretending to be driving a taxi cab. They're sitting in four chairs and they're doing space work to make it look like a taxi cab. So that's all the context you really need for this. And also the improv sucked. I hated it. I was on my phone for like half the time. It was just
I loved
bad.
it. I was relishing in everything. Before we move on and introduce the podcast, I was at a bowling thing, and there was a guy who was in improv, or he was taking improv classes, and the host was like, "Oh yeah, me too," and they both bonded over how like difficult it was, and they both said, "Yeah, it's kind of hard to find the funny," and I'm like, I can't relate, brother. I'm hilarious.
You have to be the funny
over here. I'm the
you
funny
are the
prospector.
funny.
I just like, I think a lot of people think improv is just like how to like roll with the punches, but like it's still
boxing.
comedy, man. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. People are getting improv confused with boxing.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
Uh-huh.
Imagine how funny Floyd Merriweather could be.
If he didn't get hit in the head a bunch, or maybe he's actually way funnier now that he has been hit in the head a bunch. They should do that. They should like.
Yeah. Looney Tunes got it right. I mean, that's the whole like with the little hammer stuff.
Yeah,
right?
and he had. I mean, if you look at Floyd Mayweather, of course he does have like a little bump that's just a kind of like a tower that's sprouting out of the top of his head with a couple loose hairs on it.
I always thought that was really weird as a kid. I'm like, that's scary. Actually,
that's like not what a bruise looks like. It's I've never seen anyone.
It's like
I've never seen anyone get a Tom and Jerry style.
Well, yeah, I mean, even
head bump.
Welt on the head.
Even when you get like my parents called it like a goose egg, right? It's not
not tall,
right?
Yeah, that's the thing about it. It's not tall.
I would hate that. I would hate to do that, you know?
I would hate to have tall bruises, honestly.
Tall Bruce.
Yeah.
Welcome
How about
everyone.
Tall Bruce?
How about Lenny Bruce?
How
about Tall Bruce? How about Tall Bruce Lenny?
Okay. Did you know that there's a character named Skinny Superman, apparently?
No.
Oh, it's not. I don't think it's the character's name. There's just a comic series where he's skinny because he was like a prisoner or something. I'm not a nerd. Don't fucking tell me what it is.
Tell that to Brett.
I only found out about this because I saw the dumbest like TikTok like superhero fan thing that was like fan casting for this, like the best superhero movie of all time, and they had someone as Skinny Superman. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I thought it was a shit post, but it was real. That's just what these.
Kind of like we need someone to play like pre-serum Captain Rogers,
There you go, and it's just Chris Evans.
That's true. What did they do again? They like shrank his body. Did he have a body double? Or did they shrink his body?
I think they had a body double, and then they composited his face onto the skinny guy.
Made his face skinny.
I haven't seen that movie in a while. Does that look good? Does that effect like hold up? When did that
Because
come out?
sometimes
Like,
I think about like What We Do in the Shadows, where Colin Robinson becomes a child, and like
Yeah.
they superimpose his face onto a kid's face, and it's
Impose.
supposed to be like bad and unsettling because it's like it's just supposed to be funny, like an
How about
adult
when
man's
the
face.
I mean it's like hey in the movie version where they have the guy that can't get the faces right on the animals, so he always just has like a human face with like a cat. Have you seen the movie?
I don't know the movie version of What We
Yeah,
Do in
of
the
What We Do in the
Shadows.
Shadows. Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a while. I should
Oh,
watch
okay.
it.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty good. The I think Vladislav the poker. That's his thing. Can turn into animals, but he doesn't get the faces right.
They call me the poker.
They call me the poker.
What do you poke? Welcome to Sound Direction, a menswear
That's
podcast
right.
with the stuffiness. I'm Ethan M. Wong.
I'm Spencer DSO.
And I'm MJ.
That's 10 minutes on the dot right there.
Wow,
And welcome.
we're so accurate.
Talking. This is a fantastic episode.
The movies are back, folks.
Yeah, and hey, you're listening to this. You're like, wait, what? Movie talk? You know, what is this? The third or fourth week of a month, and I only get 15 minutes? No. This is so big that we had to take it out of the
That's
vaults
right.
and make it publicly available.
And
to you, our listeners.
So this is going to be a special thing because if you listen, it's
Don't get used to it.
About a month after these movies
right.
came out, but that's
Almost
okay.
two, actually. I
Almost
think.
2 months, Jesus. But anyway, we are discussing not only the style of Barbenheimer, which I don't know if we've actually said that.
Nope.
Is that
this
one
episode's
word or
about
two
Barbenheimer.
words?
It's one word.
It is one word, but it's Barbie and Oppenheimer. So we're going to be discussing the style in those two movies because hey, there's some fun clothes in both of them. Where there's the period piece that we love, and then Ken has some outfits. Yeah.
He has a lot of outfits.
I don't know.
Well,
There's like cool like beachwear and stuff like that.
Well,
I
the
guess,
whole thing
but-
is that both of these movies, like they if you look at the the articles and interviews that we'll share in the show notes, and that you can probably Google, like they both took a lot of attention to detail in the costuming for the menswear. Obviously Barbie is a given, but Ken gets some cool fits that they reference a lot of, like the story beats in it. And again, spoilers abound for this because again the movie came out 2 months ago at the time of airing this, and so you should have seen it multiple times by now.
Exactly,
So.
multiple times. So first of all, do we want to just talk about
Concept or the cultural thing?
I guess,
impact?
yeah. Because
when was this like announced? Like, what did you hear about first?
I think I remember. Well, I don't know. I think the Barbie movie has been in the works for a long time. It's been attached to a couple different actresses and directors. I think at one point it was going to be Lena Dunham. At one point it was going to be Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot, however you say her name. But then at a certain point it became Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie. Oppenheimer. I don't remember when I heard about those movies. Like, I guess you could look up when those movies were announced. But I just remember being on Twitter the day that the release dates were announced for both those movies, and the jokes were pretty immediate. And that didn't seem like, because like again, I figure everyone listening to this knows, but just for context, those movies both came out on the same day in the U.S. at least. Maybe we have some. Out of like foreign listeners that it didn't come out on the same day. But the funny thing is, like the release date was kind of originally like a spite thing from Warner Brothers, because they knew that I think the Oppenheimer release date was announced first, and so they took that. And they were going to release their big blockbuster against that to try to take some away their box office revenue, but then of course now like Oppenheimer, which is again like a 3-hour pretty depressing biopic, is going to gross like $900 million, maybe $1 billion or something, which is pretty fucking crazy.
Probably hit $1 billion like a couple weeks
Barbie
ago.
did hit $1
I think.
billion,
or at the time of recording this.
Yeah. But it's like it's pretty crazy how well both of these movies are doing, like especially compared to some other movies that have been out. Obviously, like Top Gun was the big one last year, but a lot of the Marvels have been doing pretty poorly. Even Mission Impossible, which hey, we have different views on this last one, but that one was a little bit of a bomb. But I also just think that's because
it's bad.
Well, no, I think the big problem is that it was released
fucking
the week before these two movies, which everyone was already excited about.
Yeah.
I don't know. People, I think like Fallout was like so good, but I don't know. Like I don't know. Like were people? It didn't seem like people were as excited for this one as like
Well,
you
this
know
is like,
Top
so the
Gun
reason I
or
wanted to
Fallout
talk
or
about
something.
this is
Yeah,
because like I think that these movies really kind of they show the power of like cultural movement, social media,
the
and
magic
also
of the
like in
movies.
the magic of the movies in the post
Yeah,
pandemic era. You know what I'm saying? Like I think Fallout, even though it came at a normal time, right? It's like
2019
2017,
or
2019.
or
Wow,
20
no,
was it 2018? It was
2018.
I whenever
18.
2018. I
Okay.
just yeah okay. I just remember that was when Movie Pass died at the same time
Well,
that
if
movie
we
came
think
out.
about, yeah, I mean, like think about, yeah, like MoviePass was killed, died around that time. MoviePass famously said that you could not use MoviePass to watch that movie.
Because that was like the biggest movie when it was coming out. Like
Yeah,
everyone was
exactly.
going to see
You
that
have
one.
that. You have the Henry Cavill reloading arms thing that became a meme in
Oh yeah,
itself,
there you
and you
go.
also have this is the famous movie that caused the Snyder cut, not the Snyder cut, the Justice League movie to have crazy
Oh, that's
removed
right.
beard Superman because he could not shave his beard and mustache because he had to
Yeah,
grow it out for Fallout. So even though like those don't really contribute to like Fallout being like a crazy big movie because it's just a good movie on its own, I think that Dead Reckoning Part One doesn't really have anything other than it just being another one, you
yeah.
know.
And then it's like also I don't know. I don't like the part. I never like part one in a title. I think that's bad.
Yeah, yeah. Deathly
Yeah,
Hallows was like I think
part
is
one.
that the first one that kind of broke its final thing into another
I think that I mean I know that
two-parters.
was like one of the early ones, and then immediately after like Twilight and Hunger Games did the same thing, and then I don't
Yeah,
know did
and then
any of the
Endgame.
other
Yeah,
the
or I guess
YA
not really
novel
Endgame, but
things. Yeah, because everyone thought it was going to be
Divergent.
Infinity War Part Two,
Yeah, then
but
they
no,
were
it
like,
was
nope, it's Endgame.
uh huh. Anyway,
Um,
that's enough like Hollywood talk because we again we weren't
we have
going
a
to talk
lot to
about
go
this.
over for this damn 3 hour movie, but yeah, like this idea of eventizing a movie, like yeah, I remember when the memes came out when it first was like, oh man, like me going from Barbie to Oppenheimer the same day, like this is like like maybe like 2 years ago of like
Yeah.
like wearing a dress and then like wearing a suit afterward or whatever. So like people were kind of already prepped for this, and you know I don't know if you guys, I guess MJ was with me, so this is more of a thing for Spencer, but like a bunch of people I knew were like getting ready to dress up for it. People were asking
Oh,
me if I was going to
dude.
dress up for both,
Everyone,
and
this was like
Hmm.
almost yeah, like everyone I knew had plans to see these movies. At least when I went to the theater, I'm sure it was the same experience for you. It was like the most packed I've seen it since like I don't know, maybe Infinity War, but even then, like the difference is people were like fucking packed out for like two movies versus just one big release, which is what like we've been used to for the last couple of years.
Hmm.
yeah, and I've seen a lot of movies on opening night. I guess so. For Oppenheimer, I watched it near MJ in Glendale, which is it's not a big theater, but we did watch Barbie in in Burbank, and that's Burbank,
Barbie in
California.
Burbank. Yeah.
Like that place was fucking packed.
Mhm.
And so yeah, people were really really excited for this, and everyone was like really dressed up. And I can't imagine or can't think of a time where a movie a release has like captured the zeitgeist in this way. Like I think of and especially in terms of like fashion, right?
Mhm.
Like we've talked about how like hashtag menswear will never really come back because of Mad Men was in the cultural zeitgeist. You also have like the recession, and people wanted to have clothes that lasted because people wanted to save money. And you also had like the birth of Instagram. I mean, Instagram was like maybe like 3 years old at the time when Mad Men first started coming out. But everything was kind of primed for like this fashion movement to happen. And since then, we just really haven't had anything. We've had some things kind of like be a little bit in that vein. Like we had the Great Gatsby movie where people are like, oh yeah, Gatsby parties, the Summer of Gatsby. But like that was like for like 2013 only, and maybe
Hmm.
for like the summer and like that's it,
Hmm.
Um, and then since then, again, there really hasn't been a movie or any kind of cultural thing that kind of promotes people dressing up, having this cultural movement of that's kind of centered around fashion. But of course, with Barbie and Oppenheimer, it's all like every time I posted a fit that was like vintage, people were like, "Oh, you should wear that when Oppenheimer comes out." Like I think one time I wore like maybe like a couple of weeks before the movie came out, I wore a brown suit with a gray fedora. And I guess if you look at the costume, which we will do in the later half of this episode, I guess you could say he does wear a brown suit and like a dark grayish hat, but it's not
Yeah.
really like it's not like there's very clear Oppenheimer stuff. He's wearing single breasted. The hat is like this weird like
They call it a.
flat
I was
top.
just reading an article that's talking about how they found the hat for it. And they say it was a specific taupe color that changed depending on where you saw it in the light. After reading this article, I am kind of curious to talk about the hat thing just from a historical costuming perspective.
Yeah,
But
we'll get there. I mean, hey, we still have Indiana Jones at some point, right?
Oh, that's right.
Where we'll get into hats again. But yeah, like we just it was funny that people like this regular fedora that I have, my gray fedora, fresh from Willema, looks like a regular, like an Indiana Jones. It looks like the Indiana Jones gray fedora, just like a regular fedora in gray. But people were like, "Oh, that's such an Oppenheimer fit." I'm like, it's not, but I see what people are saying. Like, I think people like getting in this idea of like they kind of know what fits the vibe of this movie, and obviously when we did like there's a very clear Barbie vibe. I think especially for the women, where like like there is this kind of chic look that feels much more Barbie. Like I think you could have worn like a pink T-shirt, and we did see that when I went to the movie theater. But like a lot of people like they did like headscarves and like very 60s adjacent stuff, or like 80s 90s, because like there's the whole thing of like them being they have the very quick roller skating scene.
Yeah, the neon stuff.
The neon stuff, and there's also like when they wear the Western stuff when they go to Venice, because like they just wear that. Like people did like Western vibes with like Barbie stuff, or people wore like like gingham dresses and whatever, or go-go boots. The stuff like that just feels like it feels such intentionally Barbie. Like, so it's just really cool to see that people had a distinct vibe with this, because when you watch like Gatsby, people wore you wear a fedora and like a pinstripe suit. That's not really 1922. That's kind of like 1941. Like it's not exactly it. But here, the vibe is kind of general enough where people can kind of get into it with ease, and you clearly see that with all the fits people shaded for Barbie on TikTok.
Yeah.
There's so many articles about people dressing up about this. It's just really cool to see. And I also thought of the other time people dressed up. It's when Zoomers wore suits to watch the Minions movie, and when MJ and I watched it, we did see like 2 or 3 guys wearing a suit. It wasn't everyone, but like because like there's a bunch of families watching the Minions movie. I'm sorry, Minions: The Rise of Gru, which came out last year.
Was that really last year?
I'm pretty sure it's last year.
Okay, I remember the jokes about people wearing suits to that movie, but I just remember that being like longer ago. Was that before was that before the pandemic? I straight up don't remember.
It's July 5, 2022. I don't know why people did it. It's like Universal Pictures apparently tweeted saying, "To everyone showing up to Minions in suits, we see you and we love you."
That's funny.
We see you and we love you.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just like people said like they just wore suits. I think it's because it's just hilarious, like it's just a funny thing to just watch this like animated movie, and people like, well, because
it's
like
the
Minions.
meme. It's the meme, like it's literally because of the meme of that, like it's like me going to my grandma's funeral or something, and then it's a picture of a dude in like a t-shirt and basketball shorts, and then like me going to the Minions movie, and it's and it's like I'm pretty sure that was like the first one, and then people were like, oh, what if we did that for real?
Probably.
And then they did. Yeah, probably.
I like this tweet. Streets turned us despicable, but our money still grew.
That is true.
Yeah. But I guess this is like this version of it, and it spans generations. I guess like it's not just
millions of years.
It's not just about kids trying to be like really funny and edgy, and watching what is arguably a pretty wholesome movie doing a very harmless trend of wearing a suit to go watch a movie.
Yeah.
But this is
something we do all the time.
Every day, baby.
Every day.
Get in line, Buster.
It's like, it's people ask me why I'm so dressed up for the movie theater, and I'm like, cuz this is my church. I'm trying to show respect
to my God?
To my God of movies.
Yeah, what is like film? Like what's the solution of film? What's our God called? Like what do they call it? Like nitrate or something.
Yeah, there you go. Our nitrate god.
That's right.
Yeah.
I will say, Spencer. This wasn't in the notes. You remember the other time we dressed up? I mean, we always kind of dressed up to watch. Like we kind of get in the vibe of whatever.
Yeah, we'll
we're
talk
watching.
about this. Yeah.
But remember when we wore sweater vests to go watch the Imitation Game?
Which is pre-Oppenheimer. It's not
Yes.
not nearly as good. But it is, it's about scientists who are conflicted. I guess he's not conflicted. There's no point where he's like, "Oh my god, I've translated too much. This is too powerful."
No, but well, the whole thing in Imitation Game is
He's gay.
he now has the power to decide what information you share versus what you don't.
That's right.
And remember, like the guy, like the guy's brother dies because like there's like a torpedo attack on this thing, and they're like, "Well, we can't share it because otherwise they would just change the
that's
codes."
right. Yeah.
And like that's a pretty Oppenheimer-esque.
Let's put together our Oppenheimer Film Festival, and by that I just mean contemporary movies about World War II. So I think Imitation Game, gotta get that.
The Darkest Hour.
Darkest Hour, I was about to say that one.
Midway.
We could throw
The
that
new
in
one?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just Dunkirk, and so no. Here's what you do. You play all these movies, but you splice them together so everything happens in chronological order.
Well, you could do that with Imitation Game, Dunkirk, and The Darkest Hour, though. You could probably kind of like get there,
But just like one scene of Oppenheimer, and then the next scene is Imitation Game because it takes place the next day and stuff like that.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
that's crazy, actually.
I think that would be great. I'd love to see, some editor who's bored do that. Download all these movies.
Yeah.
And splice them together so it takes place in chronological order.
Yeah, you should get Topher Grace to do because he loves making these super cuts
does.
or whatever.
We should get him on the podcast.
Hey, Peter. That's my impression
Yeah.
of him as Eddie Brock.
And then I'll do my impression of Leonard Bernstein. Or sorry, Bradley Cooper is Leonard Bernstein.
What about an impression of Tom Hardy's Venom?
Ooh, I would actually love to see a scene of
I'm
all of them
hungry.
together.
Does he say that or something? He's all like,
So how about this movie? It's Tom Hardy's Venom, Topher Grace's Venom,
yeah,
and Leonard Bernstein.
as Venom.
It's a multiverse movie where it's like the Venom multiverse because those are so hot right now. But then they it's a period piece. It's set in the 70s, and they have to kill Leonard Bernstein.
Oh my god. Terminator.
Yeah, but he's really good at tag. Was he in Tag? Was Bradley Cooper in Tag, or am I thinking of Jeremy Renner?
You're thinking of Jeremy Renner, where you could
Or
confuse
Johnny
that
Ham.
guy. You could confuse
Or-
Jeremy Renner with Topher Grace. Is probably what you're thinking of, I think.
Yeah, but anyway, it's about the two Venoms. It's a multiverse movie. It's bullshit, and then they have to go back in time and kill Leonard Bernstein. I think that would be a pretty good movie.
Yeah, that's what we should have a movie about that, and you can have that scene where where Don Cheadle as War Machine goes like, "I gotta kill baby Thanos,"
And then he's like, "I'm a damn Kree. What are they? No, the Krees are the bad ones. I'm a Sklork. I didn't watch
The
that
Skrull?
fucking show.
Skrulls.
The Skrull. That's it. Again, I
that's
don't
right,
know
he's a
comic stuff.
Skrull.
Sorry, gang.
Yeah.
But let's get back on topic. So however
Yeah,
we want to
okay,
start.
okay,
Do we want to start
let's
about the
talk
cultural
about-
phenomenon? Do we want to start with just like pure costume discussion?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked enough about the cultural phenomenon. I mean, I feel like people were
really
already
quick,
like
we
super
should-
into this.
Did we talk about more? Should we talk about really quick just how we have done this for every movie we see all the time?
Yeah,
just,
I
like,
mean,
yeah.
what's a recent one? What have we done?
I mean, I'm just like both times that I've seen Asteroid City. I mean, we didn't see them together.
Oh,
but every
that's
time
right.
I've seen
Yeah,
it-
with Asteroid City, I did that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, I need to put something together that kind of feels like 50s Western. And then, I don't know, I do that for a lot of period pieces, obviously. That's pretty easy. But, I don't know, did we ever do that for, like, Star Wars or, like, Marvel or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, I did dress up as, like, a regular, like, a Han Solo-esque thing, and MJ wore all black to be Kylo Ren, I guess, when we watched The Last Jedi. Like,
Oh,
I wore a
yeah.
puffer vest with a long-sleeve polo shirt and, like, navy chinos and black boots, because I was Han Solo. I feel like... I mean, what I'm describing, though, is, like, Disney bounding,
Yeah.
kind of, right?
And people love it when we talk about Disney bounding.
Yes, they do, because who doesn't love being tied to a IP that nerds love to dress like. But no, but seriously, I feel like we do get in the vein of whatever we're watching. Also, because like we have a lot of clothes, and I feel like the challenge to ourselves is kind of fun. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
kind of get into the head of a costume,
And then put your head in a hat and through a shirt.
there you go.
for sure.
Yes.
But yeah, like you said earlier, right? We got like Asteroid City. I did the same thing with like French Dispatch. I wore like my green
Oh, yeah.
suit with like with a beret and everything. I just think it's. I mean, we clearly love movies here. We just did our
I love
episode
'em.
with our good old friend Nick, of Banff style.
That's right.
But yeah, I think it's like a fun thing to kind of do, and it's cool. Again, like I said earlier, to see other people, kind of gather and glean
The movie
the
style.
the expressive properties of these two IP and kind of dress
Yeah.
in that vein. Are we ready to talk? Let's talk about Barbie first. 'Cause I feel like that's the
Okay.
easier one, because there's not too much.
There's not as
there.
many men's clothes. I liked it. I only saw this one once. I have seen
too.
Oppenheimer twice.
Me too.
If I can get a ticket to the 70 millimeter, I might. They keep adding shows, but I don't know. They also like fucking fill up like same day.
And I don't want to go to the Universal City Walk.
That does
Yeah,
suck.
to sit
it's
in
probably
the
I
first
sh-
row, and you're like.
It's probably
wait,
easier
did
for
you
me
know?
to see it here, but at the time of recording, I'm only going to be in town for another oh man, less than 10 days.
Jeez.
6 days. Sorry, 8
Yeah.
days. I did the wrong math wrong.
Still less than 10.
Yeah, but less than 10. But
So, yeah, quick summary of this one. All right, it's just about like a Barbie who goes to the real world, and
It's-
at the same time like finding her purpose, I guess, or like kind
And
of like
at
what it
the
means to
same
be a human
time,
woman.
Ken
and-
discovers the concept of misogyny and fucking loves it.
patriarchy.
yeah, which I just think is so funny. It's just a guy like immediately learning what the patriarchy is and being like, "Wait, this is fucking great," and then everyone else likes it
What-
too.
What I don't get is, and this is we're gonna talk about style, but this is kind of like a Cars universe kind of question here. How exactly do you institute patriarchy? I don't get that, because they say that the Barbies have no natural
because-
defense to it because they never had it, but that also doesn't mean that they would be receptive to it.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, again, because it's
like-
I think the joke is that it's like in this society, since like the men are just kind of the useless accessories and the women do everything. They were just like, oh man, I don't have to be a doctor anymore. I don't have to do all this shit. I could just like serve beer. That's the joke.
Oh,
I mean,
trad
it's like,
wife stuff. Yeah, I guess.
yeah, but it's also, I don't know, people taking the.
But there was no pressure of being a doctor. That's the whole thing. I mean, I guess
I think
if,
it's
if
just like
Ken
a little goofy
told
thing.
them
Like
that,
the whole thing, I think everything like operates on like just kid logic. Like they don't necessarily understand how patriarchies and sex patriarchies plural or sexism or anything like that works. It's just kind of like you hearing the words. And again, they say in the movie, he
why
thinks it's
would
a
they listen
horse.
to a Ken? That's my whole thing. Like, why would?
Well,
why
again,
would
the
they
other
even
thing is
listen to
it seems like at a certain point everyone is just kind of over it already. Cause like that's straight. Like when the Kens lose, there's like, you know what? We thought this was more about horses, and when we found out it wasn't, it kind of lost all the magic. Like I like this movie. I think people taking the gender politics of Barbie really seriously is like dumb. I just think the concept is like an inherently funny concept. But yeah, so that's. Did we just kind of summarize the whole movie in that like
Yeah.
little discussion?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
it.
They discover
yeah.
sexism, and then the Barbies rise up and learn that it's okay to be weird and normal. Barbie taught me it's okay to be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what taught me to be weird?
What?
Suicide Squad.
That is right.
Yeah,
They
you
should
know,
have had a
with the
Harley
Margot
Quinn
Robbie.
Barbie. Yeah.
They should. I mean, they kind of had a weird Barbie or whatever with Kate McKinnon.
How about a Joker Barbie? Or I guess maybe
Joker
Joker
Ken.
Ken. Yeah, Ken did kind of go Joker mode in this.
Yeah, I mean that's
Um,
like
in
in
the
itself.
middle of the movie.
I did.
Yeah.
I think I thought it was funny. I saw someone like when this movie first came out. Someone I follow on Twitter described this as just like, this is shockingly like the most problematic entry into Ryan Gosling's like, this is literally me like kind of role. You know, we're all like the internet incels who like weirdly love Ryan Gosling. This is the most problematic version of those characters.
Well, it's really funny. I read like an article. I forgot where it was, but like how women are using this movie as like a litmus test, or it tends to function as one. And I can kind of see it because I do like. There are some people that maybe I don't follow, but like I saw like some guys really like don't like this movie for some reason.
It's again like pretty dumb. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Like,
not that big of a deal.
Well, because like again, not to harp too much on this isn't a fucking politics show, but of course there were like people like Ben Shapiro who was like this movie's woke garbage, but now there's an argument because it's the biggest damn movie out there. I've seen a lot of right wingers be like, actually this movie's kind of anti woke, and that means it's good, which means we're winning that it makes money.
That's so funny because I did see that, right, where it's all like the whole like the beginning of the movie too, or something like that, where it's about like breaking like the dolls or whatever. Like Barbie helps. I forgot what it was.
Oh no,
I
it's
saw
like
something
the
really dumb.
people are saying it's like, oh, this movie's anti-natalist or something. They hate children. It's like, dude, like no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just I don't know.
It's really weird. I like that Ben Shapiro, you brought him up. He's all like, this movie sucks, but he's also like, someone pointed out, he's kind of dressed up like a Ken.
No, literally. There's like he's wearing
the
a black
the
t-shirt
black,
tucked into his jeans, and
all-
there's a scene
all
where
the-
Ken is wearing that exact outfit.
All the pictures that he posted are him like trying so hard not to like regular smile too. So it's like
He's doing the smug smile.
yeah, but it
Have you seen he's doing like fucking like Mr. Beast faced on his YouTube thumbnails now?
gotta
Oh,
cater
God, I
to
hate
the algo, man.
Yeah. God, the internet was a mistake, maybe. It is.
Who made it? The Swedes? Who made the internet again?
Or
Or
Gore,
whatever?
yeah.
Yeah, which
Oh, yeah, that's
and
right.
which university is responsible for the
But
was
let's
actually
talk
Chapman
about
University.
Ken. So
Yeah.
here's the thing. This movie, Ryan Gosling plays one of the Kens, Beach Ken, who is
He's Beach
obsessed
Ken.
with stereotypical Barbie, who is played by Margot
Uh-huh.
Robbie. And I didn't know this. There's a guy called Stereotypical Ken.
yeah.
Oh, really?
There's a-
Which one is
yeah.
stereotypical?
Background.
I think he's-
Stereotypical Ken.
He's like the kind of like larger white guy, who's
Okay.
kind of in a couple of scenes. Let me find the list of Kens real quick here.
List of
Barbie
Kens.
Did he-
'Cause,
20.
okay.
Did he have any speaking?
Because the only I
lines?
just know there's Simu Liu Ken.
Yeah,
I don't
he
know what his Ken
plays
is. He's Pompadour
Tourist
Ken, right?
It's Tourist Ken.
Okay. Well, okay. So
The guy who
there's-
plays Gravik is Basketball Ken. Scott
Uh-huh.
Evans is Stereotypical Ken.
Oh,
uh,
it's really okay.
Uti Gatwa plays Artist Ken. John Cena is Ken Maid.
Nice.
Rob Brydon is Sugar Daddy Ken. Of course, you see that in the quick scene.
Uh huh.
There's also Earring Magic Ken.
This okay.
yeah, there's a lot of
ScreenRant.com
different
at least says that he is stereotypical Ken, but I don't know if that's true. It says Scott Evans. Also, well, see, it also says Scott Evans is stereotypical Ken.
Yeah, I'm
So
telling
who
you,
knows?
the more you look at it, the more questions you have about the universe.
But anyway,
Ken.
yeah,
Kenwood.
old Ken. But yeah,
What's
his
up, Kenwood?
job is
Ken Bone.
beach, and as a result, there is a lot of fun, like pretty retro beachwear. I think this movie might have the most like cabana shirts or like
Yes,
like
yeah, bring that back.
that I've seen in any recent release. The most cabana shirts and on screen at once, outside of like maybe a fucking Elvis movie or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really like a lot of. I mean, in that scene where Ken gets to, he tries to like surf a wave and he fucking
Dies.
fucks the crap up.
He
he
fucks
dies.
the wave.
Yeah, lots of matching sets, right? Like the matching board shorts with a camp collar shirt, and it looks like there's like I mean, based on the photos that I have, it looks like there's different types. Like I don't like the one by sorry, like Cootie, whatever the other guy, like in the background, his camp collar is a different shape than the one Simu Liu's wearing. So I
Okay.
don't know if like they had that much attention to detail, or like these are all kind of like vintage, or they made them like different vintage patterns to make this kind of stuff.
Well, because I
But
don't know how
but-
much vintage stuff there was in the like. It seems like a lot of this stuff was made for the
Custom
movie,
made, yeah.
and a lot of it, of course, is like based on like actual.
Like an actual. They
like,
did do that.
doll
They said that
clothing.
for the
Like, you can
Leot-
see
or
the Allen,
the roller
yeah.
skating thing. Oh, the Allen one.
The
Yeah, he
terry
has like
cloth.
that like terry cloth, like
the
like
rainbow
Bengal
terry
or-
cloth thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the awning stripe one. And they did say that the roller skating outfits, even though
It's
they are
based
not
on
exactly like the same like pieces. Like, I think they changed it around to make it look a little bit more retro or a little bit more weird.
it's like they
Um,
just take the pattern, but
they took the
I saw that
pattern.
too.
They
It's like the '94 like hot skating Barbie or something.
yeah.
Um,
But yeah, Ken wears that in his first scene where he's like, his unbuttoned shirt. He goes like, "Hi, Barbie," and and
mhm.
she's there. And then later on for the dance, the disco scene, the dance party, whatever, he gets to wear like this like
Ryan Gosling is so fucking funny in that scene. I mean, he's like incredible this whole movie. But
yeah, he
yeah,
does
that
that
face
funny
that he
face when he's
makes.
dancing. Yeah, it's
Oh
so good.
man.
This is one of those like times where like how like when a movie normally is released like after like a little bit after where they'll release like clips like regular clips. I
Hmm.
know that these are meant to be like you gotta watch movies, but like it's been a month now. Can you just give me the damn like isolated scene of him dancing,
Yeah,
please?
I've
I just
seen
want
that clip on Twitter. I bet it's on YouTube or something like that. But hey, we'll maybe we can rate that. Maybe this is a new thing that we can do in our movie episodes. How likely is it that you are going to buy either of these movies? Like, because I might buy both. I'm definitely gonna buy
I mean, yeah.
Oppenheimer. I'm definitely gonna want to watch that movie again. And there's a lot of, I mean, I do this a lot with the movies that I buy. Like I buy them because there's like individual scenes that I just want to watch over and over again. And both these movies kind of had
You're
those.
just
Like,
describing what we all do all the time. Every
I
time
mean,
we
yeah.
hang out, we end up just watching clips of movies.
We just
Spencer.
watch clips.
How
We
many
love
times do we
clips.
do that with the Kingsman
Oh, man.
post-credit scene, which keeps coming back all the time, man?
Dude,
Like,
oh
we'll
my
never be
god,
able to
yeah, we
escape
need
that.
to. We should have like, okay, they should have a prequel to Oppenheimer, where it's the Kingsman movie, or maybe it's happening at the same time, and it's like, okay,
Well,
so you saw the real Manhattan.
That's part of the
Project.
edit, right?
Yeah.
The end of Kingsman, and then in
At
between
the end of Kingsman,
until-
and then it leeds into every other movie.
until all the World War II movies, and then
And then at the very end, you get to watch the other Kingsman movies.
I'm telling you, double feature, The Post and All the President's Men, right there. Cinematic
There you
universe.
go. Mm-hmm.
But anyway, for that dance scene, Ken wears like a tracksuit, but like he's like tucked in the jacket, in like he has
Yeah.
a belt on. It's got like this like it's like white and gold with like a gold stripe down the side. I think that's really fun. Again,
And
his
it's
face
the
in that is
photo.
really,
It's like him with the wine glass, right?
yeah, it's like the gold
Yeah.
wine glass that's empty. Um, and then after that scene, like he sneaks aboard Barbie's car and he wears like a Barbie logo like also like Harrington jacket or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Where he he sneaks aboard the car, and then where you get like the most Ken outfits, I guess, is during the montage scene where because you have to travel through montage to get from Barbie Land to the real world, and you get to see some
Yeah.
cool stuff like they're wearing like pink striped Breton striped tees when they're on like a boat. They were like not lederhosen, but like really short European shorts with like boots and like knee high socks with a plaid shirt and a tight
It's
sweater.
like a
kind of like
biking
this, like,
outfit. Yeah.
in like Netherlands kind of tandem bike thing. And then my favorite is when he gets to wear like the 60s camp outfit where he's like
Oh, yeah.
a pink button up shirt
Like
with a pink
probably like
turtleneck
maybe a
base layer.
chamois or like a CPO or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, with white jeans and like I'm pretty sure I clocked him at wearing
Are those like white
either white penny
bucks?
loafers or white
like,
deck shoes or like something like that.
Yeah, or maybe like
Yeah.
white, just like I don't know, who knows.
I will say Margot Robbie looks really great. I mean, I just love that fit because that's kind of like what not Grace Kelly, but whoever the hell the girl in North by Northwest wears when they go to the final scene in
with the big wedges.
the big wedges in the Mount
The
Rushmore
bandana.
scene in
Yeah.
North by Northwest. But of course they go to the main the real world, and that's where they get they're wearing roller skating because that's how they have to come out of the montage. And they both get hit on. They both, which I think is really funny. Margot Robbie gets hit on by like construction guys, and then like a couple of like gay guys are like they like check out Ken, and it's kind of funny because Ken, it's not played as like weird. Like Ken loves it because he's finally getting attention now.
Well, because it also like they don't necessarily they don't understand sexuality or
That's true. They
like
have no
desire
genitals.
even
Yeah.
like that, you know.
Yeah, there's a really funny scene right where he's all like, "You want to come to my house and do what?" I honestly don't know.
It's like I don't know.
Like,
No,
you just
no.
do
My
it.
favorite part is it's like why would he do that? And he just goes because we're boyfriend girlfriend. And it's like that is like that's how kids talk. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just really
child
fucking
logic
funny.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
So
They
yeah,
get to the
they
real
do that.
world.
Yeah,
That's
they
when they
get
buy their first outfits because he's got the crazy neon thing. We got the Western wear. It's still trending, baby. People keep predicting the death of Western wear, and it's never gonna happen. um, but what do we think of this outfit, which is his first real world outfit? And also, do you think
yeah the
you would be able to get this from a beachside store in like fucking Venice or whatever?
I don't know. I have first off, I haven't been to Venice, but I
Uh-huh.
have been to Santa Monica and other beach. I don't know where. Yeah, I don't know who the hell's selling this. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
will say this fit. You take off the hat, kind of good. I mean, there's
Would
nothing.
you would wear it minus the hat? I think keep the hat.
Just go all
Oh
the
yeah,
way,
I'm sorry.
man.
Yeah, just keep the.
You're
keep
dressed
the
as
whole
a
thing.
cowboy, dude. Like that's my thing. It's like if you're wearing the fucking fringe shirt and the cowboy boots, you might as well have the hat. Like
Yeah, I mean, what this movie is really all about, like someone called it the yassification. I mean, one way to think about it is also like this is like very pro camp, and I know we haven't
Yeah.
really talked about camp. I know like our outfits aren't really about that. I know we talked about it briefly in our episode with Brett, which is a great episode. Listen to that one. But I do think this is kind of fun to like because guys love this shit. Like I know like everyone
Mm-hmm.
loves this Western wear thing, and it's again not the edgy Albert thing, which I talked about in the Asteroid City episode, where I'm like, I like that Asteroid City does Western wear in a way that's kind of quirky and fun. It's very mid-century. It hasn't gotten
Yeah.
completely Robert Redfordized yet, you know. And so, yeah, I really like that we have this, and I know, guys. I mean, I would wear. I have like a black Western. I don't have black with white
The fringe
fringes,
with the right fringe
but this
and
is
the
really
embroidery.
fun. I really like this look. I like that he's got the Western belt. Like it's not like a crazy belt buckle. It's just
Yeah.
a normal black Western belt. And he wears this when they when Barbie goes to the school to connect with what she thinks is the kid that's playing with her in a wrong way, that's making her feel depressed. But at this point he somehow goes from Venice Beach to this public school back to like Century City,
Yeah.
where there is like he goes into like this building, which I think I've been to because I think I had to drop off an Ascot Chang shirt for someone
Okay,
who worked
yeah.
there. And then he
And
sees
did you see
like
the big billboard that has money or Ronald Reagan or whatever on
yeah,
there?
like Ronald Reagan on
American
there,
Dream.
and Bill Clinton and everything.
That was
but
the other. So really quick, that I thought that montage was so funny. But that's one of the reasons that there's a bunch of right wing guys who like love this movie is because it is basically like one of those like Sigma male edits that people make and put on Twitter. It is like, it is just.
I'm
I
actually
don't know,
surprised
it's
that no one
pretty funny.
said the word Sigma male in this. You know, I guess they didn't want to go too far with like the
Yeah.
internet thing because they still have to redeem him at some point. Like
Yeah.
he's still supposed to be very silly, but I think
But
he could have
it's-
pulled a Sigma.
It's like,
male
yeah,
or
this
whatever.
is like they are kind of doing like a jokey version. Like it's not even it's funny to me that like this is very obviously like the whole montage and Ken's whole idea of masculinity and what the patriarchy is or whatever is like so juvenile and dumb and just this like the stupidest idea. Like he thinks it's about horses and shit like that, you know. But like there's like people who constantly post photos of like 1950s Coca-Cola ads being like, this is what we've lost, and they have like they have just an unironic like vision of masculinity in the same way that Ken does in this movie. So there's a bunch of people that saw that and didn't read it as a joke and now they love Ken.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if these guys love Ken when he gets to don his like Sylvester Stallone outfit, which is
Here we go.
Every time I talk about it, they say faux mink, so it's just very clear, no animals were harmed in the making of this movie. But the faux mink like cape that he wears with like these like boxing pants with like
Well, I
boxing
think it is.
Adidas or
I'm pretty
whatever.
sure it is a coat. He's just wearing this. He's just wearing it
Oh,
like
I
a
see.
cape.
I do. Yeah. I see that now.
Yeah,
I think there
because you
are
can
some-
see it's like at least in the one where he's walking up and he's got the boxing shorts or whatever. It looks like he has his hands in his pockets, the coat pockets, and then you can
Yeah,
see
yeah.
like on the shoulders in the dance sequence. It definitely looks like there's something.
Oh
there.
yeah, there's And he gets like a fanny pack with the Metallica font of his name on there.
That's pretty. Which is Like I don't
Yeah,
know, this movie does a lot of really good gags with
really-
clothes and stuff like
yeah.
that, which is great. I ended up liking this a lot more than I thought I would.
Of course.
Um, yeah, I mean, I figured I was gonna enjoy it, but I just remember there were a couple scenes that like were posted early that I wasn't a huge fan of. But overall, I thought that was pretty good. The quick digression about my opinion, I guess.
Yeah.
But
No,
what?
I enjoyed it.
But yeah, what other when
Uh,
he's
I mean, he
doing
does have like
patriarchy, he does.
the what do you call it, the necklace with the horse in the horseshoe kind of thing is
That's
pretty
right.
funny.
Yeah,
Um,
the good luck charm he's got. Yeah, during the fight sequence where all the Kens, because this is how they take down the patriarchy. They just make the Kens jealous of each other, which of course has that one. What's the song that they're playing? Like the fucking
Matchbox 20.
the Matchbox
Push
20
by Matchbox
song.
20.
That was
Yeah,
so
yeah.
fucking like the
Is
zoom
that
out
Will?
of them on the
Yeah.
beach and
To
it's just
all of
all of
them.
them. Like that was so fucking good. Like I don't know. But yeah, that was then the Barbies make the Kens jealous because they pair off with different Kens, which is again kind of funny that they're all still getting paired off with a Barbie, but it's just not,
Not the
it's
original.
not their Barbie.
their one. Yeah, because men
and
are meant
so-
to be polyamorous or something. I don't know.
That's right. Yeah, there you go. But anyway, this is a
Uh,
pro poly movie.
Yeah, but
his
the
fight
ultimate
outfit
Polly Pocket.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the fight outfit where he gets to wear like the
His
sleeveless
biker
fringe
cut,
vest.
yeah.
Yeah. And he gets
With-
I apparently with the lightning headband.
Yeah, very like Karate Kid kind of thing right there.
Yeah, yeah. And I like how all the other Kens, I don't know, like they're doing war, but it's just like they're wearing sport outfits, but they're
They're
hitting
wearing like
each other.
tennis outfits, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because
like,
they're
you
all
see a
like
lot of,
hitting each other with
retro
like racket
socks.
balls or whatever.
There's also like,
or,
one guy's holding like I think it's like lacrosse, I think.
yeah,
is
or
what it is.
lacrosse gear.
Yeah.
It looks like they all have some sort of sports gear,
Except for main Ken.
except for Main Ken, who's just.
But then
doing
when they
battle
all
with his
realize
fist.
that they are all on the same side and they love being Ken or whatever, they do have
the dance
the
sequence,
dance
outfit.
sequence, yeah, where it's like a parody of the singing in the rain scene, I guess, right, or whatever.
It reminded me of a bunch of like like big 50s. There's probably one that it's like directly related to. Were they doing like
Yeah.
Bob Fosse style like jazz
That's right, the-
dancing? I can't remember.
Yeah, the black. No, they kind of do that. Yeah, it's like
Okay.
synchronized while he sings, but they wear
Yeah.
a black T-shirt tucked into like black trousers or jeans with
a
the, like,
slim
the-
belt, which we'd love,
Yeah, that's right. That's our thing, baby.
and also the
with
thing I
penny
think is cool,
loafers.
with and pink socks.
Pink
socks,
socks.
Which,
yeah.
that's a great. Honestly, this is a pretty good combo. But I like that little detail. I like that he's wearing the belt like offset to the center.
Like, askew, which Ben Shapiro also did in his.
Oh, did he
photo.
do?
Yeah. I'm pretty
Again, do you
sure
think
did
he's
that.
doing this on purpose? Was he like?
I don't
actually
like. What
dressed
if
up
he's like?
I doubt it, but that would be so funny if this was like his second or third time seeing it. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this Ken outfit."
Oh
I'm gonna
no,
be
okay,
subtle.
he didn't do it askew, but he's
Okay.
wearing like an Anson belt kind of like where it's like one of those like click belts, like a
Mhm.
nylon belt. It's not good. But yeah, it's pretty. I gotta wear my pink socks. I gotta get
Yeah.
some pink socks. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta get my pink
Prolapsed
socks. Do they have them at? Oh Jesus!
No.
Do they have them at Uniqlo?
Of course
They
they do. I have
do.
some. MJ has some.
Okay.
He wore it. Yeah. So some points here about the costuming here. I like that Kim Coolmone, head of design at Mattel, said that basically that Ken is an accessory to Barbie's life, and they,
Yeah.
obviously the filmmakers did leverage that. Like Spencer says, everything that the filmmakers knew that they were playing up like the very juvenile, kid view that he has of like what masculinity and like men's fashion is. That's why it's very, hilarious that he's wearing, a bunch of, 80s style stuff, just some of the stuff that we currently think is like super masculine or is like a very, funny version of it.
Mm-hmm.
I do like when he kind of as an aside when he is walking around Century City and you got like two guys walking and like, yeah man, like high five, like, man, you look great, and he's like, oh, I want that, I want this like bro energy.
Yeah.
I think it's really fun. I also like here costume advisor Mark Avery says like it's about the feeling of being a kid and getting to wear whatever you want for the first time.
Yeah.
I think that's really funny.
I mean, I was reading an interview with the costume designer, and it's like obviously there's a lot of things that are just taken directly from dolls, but something that I thought was cool is that she was just like, oh well, this is like Malibu Beach, Malibu Barbie, and so there's a lot of stuff in this that she said is just kind of riffs on like 50s and 60s like resort wear and stuff like that. And I mean, obviously, we have some photos of vintage Ken dolls that are all wearing a bunch of the cabana shirts or the matching beach sets and stuff like that. But there is a lot of just like kind of mid-century vibes to Barbie Land.
Yeah. It's really fun to see all of that kind of together and done in a movie, right? Especially when
Mm-hmm.
it's not like a period drama or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
I also do like some of the stuff here, like when some of the Ken stuff where it's like the vintage Ken stuff where it's all like he's wearing I forgot what how I need to zoom in on this fucking thing. It
Oh,
says here.
actually, hold on. I just discovered that there is vintage stuff that he's wearing. His primary job being beach. Dern reveals colorful 80s sportswear is the key Ken look, along with a few sketchy disco boiler suits and some hyper-masculine cowboy looks. Retro sportswear is one area where we did a lot of shopping for Ken, she says. He is sporty. That is his main thing. We had buyers in America that went to dealers and imported for us because we needed so much of it. So he is wearing some vintage athletic wear in this movie.
Love it.
Yeah.
What I want is what the vintage Ken thing is called the Saturday date for a business appointment in town for Saturday night dress up dates
Oh,
with
is that the
Barbie.
very Ivy
Ken
look?
Ken chooses a smart natural shoulder suit with a long sleeved white shirt, fashionable slim tie, and ivy stripes, shoes, and socks complete the outfit. And I could complete my outfit too, honestly.
Yeah. Well,
I,
here's
I
something
love
that's
it a
kind of
lot.
fun. In the
Yeah.
original sketch for the Ken's boat outfit during the montage, you
Yeah.
know how like vintage like Benton stripe tees, they have like it doesn't, the stripe doesn't go all the way up, it's like the it's like around the neck or whatever. There's the
Yeah,
gap.
yeah, yeah.
They had that originally in the sketch, but that did not translate to the actual costume. So
Darn.
come on, guys.
Yeah. Did you dress up to go watch Barbie, Spencer?
I did my best. I don't really have that much that is like bright pink or something like that. I did wear, and
Yeah.
the other thing that was limiting was this was when I was back in town for a couple days, and I was packing pretty light. So I didn't have many clothes with me. But what I did end up wearing is a shirt that I recently found again because it was in one of my boxes of things that I mean to get rid of but haven't done yet. It is a like color block bowling shirt. And I am glad I found it because I thought I had sold that thing already and I regretted it because it's a fun shirt. I just don't wear it a whole lot because it is very bold. But it's an LVC bowling shirt. Like I said, it's color block, so it's got pink, it's got blue, bright red, a bunch of like just bright primary colors, which felt pretty Barbie. So I just wore that to my one time seeing Barbie. I'm trying to think if I see it again, if I have anything that would be better for it. I did like your outfit. If you want to talk about that.
Yeah. So, what's really fun is that I watched the movie the day after my birthday party, which is crazy for MJ because he was gone, kind of.
Yeah.
I rallied back
But
during the
yeah,
day.
yeah. But so our friends Epiphany and Christina, they both work in like production, and they had a awesome brunch. They do set design or whatever, and it's really showed. I put some photos in the blog post there. They did like a photo booth. They had brunch stuff. They had like pink mimosas and like strawberry lemonade and a lot of crazy awesome stuff to get in the mood of it, and it was really great to do. And I wore, well, first off, Isabel wore, she didn't have a lot of pink stuff, but she did make a pair of hot pink shorts
Oh, that's
literally like
fun.
5 days before that. These like high-waisted pleated shorts, I really love it. I think she'll probably wear it more than that. I don't have a lot of pink. I had pink socks. I'm like, well, and I have like a pink spear point shirt. And I have some ties. I have pink in the back. I don't want to just do like a trad outfit with like a pink tie. Like I feel like I want to do something a little bit more fun and obviously inspired. I guess prior to the movie, I didn't know about patriarchy and horses and Western wear, but I did see the one where they come into Venice and he's wearing the black. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, what if I just do a version of that? So I wore my pink plaid like '60s Western shirt that I got from Western Gifts a couple of years ago, and I wore that with a white suit and cowboy boots and my silver belly fedora. And again, like that was done because like it's like the best stuff I could do, and I feel like the pink with the white makes more sense to me wearing like a pink shirt with like a navy suit. I feel like you lose some of that like that vibrancy that comes with Barbie. And I did it, and I fucking loved it. I'm like, this is the fucking look, and everyone else loved it. The photo booth pictures were great. But apparently, according to TikTok, MJ's fit was better than mine. Because according to the one comment, MJ, what did you wear to go see Barbie?
So I did the white and pink striped rugby shirt from J. Crew. I was about to say white. I guess it wasn't white. They were just like light khaki pants, and then I wore a
No, they're shorts. It's shorts.
shorts. Sorry, and then I tied my pink crew neck sweater around my neck over my shoulders, and yeah, pink socks and loafers. I guess it
Yeah, he's got like a prep look. You know,
Yeah.
Ivy prep.
summer prep. Yeah, it was good for the heat that Sunday too.
Yeah. And it kind of echoes again the like the Swedish outfit when they're on the tandem bikes during the montage.
Yeah.
But yeah, people loved it. You know, when we watched it in Burbank, so many people, obviously all of Epiphany and Christina's friends dressed up for it. Almost the entire theater was dressed up. When we walked out, there was a bunch of people walking in wearing stuff. You know, it's really great. And you know, people that we follow, friends of ours, also dressed up for the movie. Like I know, Acute Style wore a really great pink outfit. You know, he collects a lot of vintage Ralph Lauren, a lot of Ivy stuff, and I think that was really fun to go see. And of course, Mutuals on TikTok also dressed up, and I think it's fun. Again, I haven't been, you know, it's a costume party that happens all over the United States or the world, I guess, and people can just have fun with it. I think we haven't had that kind of, you know, why don't we? This could cure for world peace, right? Like, and
Cure
Barbie
world
Land
peace?
figured it out. Yeah, Barbie figured it
Okay.
out. So why not?
Hey, speaking of having a good time,
Yeah.
let's talk about
Oppy?
yeah, nuclear war.
Okay, here we go. So Oppenheimer, I think I like it less the second time, but I think
Really?
it's because I think it's, you know, I mean, I'm more so like I'm more critical of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm kind of watching it more with like a fresh, not fresh eyes because I watched it, but more like
Critical eyes.
oh, like, you know, like you can notice like more of like the pacing thing, or like you want more out of a certain character or whatever. And I know that I think the New York Times had kind of like not a scathing review, but a very critical review of it. And while I'm not always swayed by other people's articles, I can kind of see the merits of it. But the movie, for those of you who haven't seen this movie that came out 2 months ago, is a biopic. It's about Oppenheimer. It is about how he made the atom
Well,
bomb.
it's
kind of.
It is a direct adaptation of the autobiography American
Autobiography?
Prometheus. Oh, sorry, biography. American Prometheus. And so, I mean, the other thing that I think is, like, I don't know, I do understand some criticisms, but I also think, you know, if you say it's like, oh, I wish we had gotten more of this character's perspective or something, like, the whole thing is, it's all from Oppenheimer's perspective, other than the black and white scenes, which are from, I don't know, Louis Strauss's
No, it's
I
Strauss,
guess that's
pronounced Strauss.
that's Strauss, yeah. But anyway, I think Nolan said in interviews that that's just like the quote unquote like objective view. But it also doesn't seem like it's the fully objective view, because it doesn't seem like it's from Strauss's
No, I
point
think
of view.
that's that when people were talking about that, I'm like that's not it, man. It doesn't come off that way at all. It's just literally Strauss and Oppenheimer. Like that's it. That's all you got. That's all you got to do. No,
But
just
I don't
wish,
know. Are
you
they
we
talking
got-
about like Florence Pugh's character?
No, I think we're talking about Oppy himself. I feel like,
Okay.
you know, I think it could be because of the Strauss thing, but you know, like the whole thing about him saying that Oppenheimer like played up his character, and that he owned the atom bomb, and he and did all this kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
you know, the wishy-washiness of it. I feel like we're told about his wishy-washiness. I wish that
No,
we saw
dude,
it
I feel like that's demonstrated literally every scene. Someone is like, "Please, Oppenheimer, take a stand on this," and he's like, "Ugh, I don't know if I could do that." Like, how about the scene where it's like, fucking the guy is telling him, it's like, you got to stop messing around with these communists if you want to build the atomic bomb, and like fucking no hesitation, he's just like, "Okay, I'm done with politics forever. That's it. I'm done. Whatever." There's the scene where
I mean it more during the AEC scene, like, you know what I mean, like we spent a lot of time in Los Alamos, and and then after that we go straight from that to him getting his security clearance revoked, and I want more scenes of him speaking out. Like, we have the one scene of him in the in the where all the generals are like, this guy sucks, and then we get the other one about the isotope thing. But that's
Well,
it.
'cause
I
we do
want
see
more
we do
post
have.
World War II, Oppy. I want more of that. is what I'm saying.
Okay. So you want more stuff at just him at the AEC? Because I think that they try to boil down everything from that
I know
period into that one scene that is a
the dinner
fictional
scene. Yeah.
where he's just like arguing against the building of the H bomb. But I mean, I don't know. There's the scene that I was thinking about is like the whole movie. Everyone's like, okay, you're the salesman of science. You're gonna go in there and make sure that they're all using this thing responsibly. Sorry, I'm out of water and my mouth is I'm a little parched right now. But
Okay.
like he gets in the room with the generals where they're picking the cities to bomb, and he doesn't fucking say anything. He's just like sitting there, and it's like I think that is the scene that is like indicting him. It's like,
No,
this
guess,
is his
yeah.
chance to say something, and he doesn't, or maybe he does say something, and they're like,
What
that's
I
pretty dumb,
want to
and
know
then that's it.
too is the first time I watched it, I know that he says something about like when they're packing up the bomb. They say like he says something about if you detonate it too high, it won't be as devastating. And
Yep.
the first time I watched it, I thought he was saying you should detonate it high to prevent it. But the second time I watched it, I thought he then said you shouldn't detonate it too high because we want maximum devastation. And again, the movie is not out yet. I haven't seen it with subtitles, and this movie is very soft in dialogue. Sometimes the music is mixed way too loud.
It's
a
in
lot of
every
scenes.
scene too.
Yeah, again, bad score. I'm gonna tell you that, but I mean, like, yeah, that also could be a great factor. That I did like that I caught it more this time around. Again, I
Yeah,
don't know
because,
what
like, the
he
other thing-
specifically said, but whatever.
I think like this is a view that the real Oppenheimer had, but I think he also thought that. I mean, they say in the movie, he's like, if we use this thing once and people see how scary and destructive it is, no one's ever gonna want to use it again. But he was like, that's a really fucking dumb thing to think, because everyone saw how scary and destructive it was, and then was like, oh, we got to make more of those so no one can use them on us, like,
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, are we getting too much into the philosophy of Oppenheimer?
Yeah, no, I do want to say the last point too. They say that he's a salesman of science. I want more of that too, because I think I don't know what he does outside of him.
You get the scene of him at the hearing where he's like, well, these isotopes are no more useful to building a bomb than a ham sandwich, and then everyone cracks up and they keep
Everybody
cutting back to him
claps.
just saying like a ham sandwich in like slow-mo.
I like that scene. Does he say like, I think the real quote is like vitamins or something like that? Like the
He
real
says
life
vitamins, which is way less funny.
Yeah,
But-
and then I like the two scenes of Strauss being like, oh yeah, he got me, and then the real scene, I guess, in quotation marks, where he's like, fuck you, you bitch.
He's like fuming, listening to him make jokes about sandwiches.
That's almost, this might be the new scene of the Social Network of him like reading the note saying like screw you, you know what I mean? Like I want, actually, I will say, I was talking to a friend about this, and we were saying like how like he's like, this movie's like great, and I do think that Interstellar is probably the better, more Nolan, probably like a holistic movie that I really like, and obviously the music is better than that, but you want a movie about being betrayed by your friends and being put on trial, even though it's not a real trial, you gotta watch The Social Network, baby. That's the movie.
There you go. What if
but,
Oppenheimer stole the idea for the atomic bomb from two twins?
Yeah, from Teller.
Yeah, Teller had a twin, and then
Yeah.
they were like, Oppenheimer, we heard
get a
that you were
bomb.
great at building bombs.
Yeah. But I do think I do want more of the salesman of science, because I think we just get him as like he's just, I mean, he is a genius, so that you see that all he gets a bigger
I guess
class
maybe
size over time.
he's good at selling
but
himself.
That is true. That is true. I
'cause it's
guess
like
we get some of that.
The scene where Groves comes to recruit him, like tells him, it's like, everyone told me not to hire you. Like, they all said that you would be bad at this, and he's like, well, I'm here to tell you that I'd be great at it. And then Groves
You
is
bastard,
like, okay,
you're hired.
Yeah.
I like this guy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I saw that someone said that Oppenheimer's voice, Cillian Murphy's voice, sounds like Robin Williams. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like Spencer said, like this movie, we didn't really talk about the movie, but yeah, it's
I mean,
about.
I mean, everyone. Again, I'm assuming everyone knows it's following Robert Oppenheimer in the lead up to the Manhattan Project and building the bomb, but it's all told through the frame story of two hearings. It's Louis Strauss's confirmation hearing for what, Secretary of Commerce or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the 50s hearing that took away Oppenheimer's security clearance, which we learn in the film was a setup by Strauss because he got so pissed off that he was professionally humiliated by that sandwich joke.
And for souring Strauss, or souring Albert Einstein on Strauss, which I think is really funny. Tom Conti's face, like just being so dejected, and pissed
Tom
off.
Conti was so great in this. Can we talk about the part where
he comes out of nowhere?
Yeah, he comes out like so
where?
Oppenheimer
Yeah, okay,
gets dropped off in a taxi or something.
Oppenheimer sees during the hearing, he realizes that
he's talking to his lawyer or something.
He's talking to the AEC's general counsel, who is his friend, but who can't help because of conflict of interest. And then you have their mutual friend, the nice little lawyer guy with a bow tie. They both get into the car
Garrison,
and leave.
I think.
Yeah, Lloyd Garrison. And as that car leaves, immediately you see Albert Einstein emerge from the shadows, as if he was walking there the whole time to catch up with his old friend.
So I haven't read the book. I want to read it, but it is like fucking like 1,000 pages long or something. So but I heard from someone who read the book that's kind of like that scene is in the book, and that's kind of how it's described. Like I really, really, really want to read it, like at least for that specific thing, to see when they describe Einstein coming out of the shadows like he's Nick Fury.
Yeah, I do like I think it is funny that he's in it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole thing is like like these scientists who basically, a lot of these guys in Manhattan Project went on to do, like they all won like Nobel Prizes for their own individual research. These are guys
like,
that we've heard about in our science books in high school, but like they're there in like their fucking like prime of their life. They're all like 30 to like 50 years old, like
and they're all
like
having
regular
sex, or at least Oppenheimer. He's the swaggy physicist 80s, when he's young. Before he builds the bomb, that's like. Yeah, he's just having sex with everyone's wives, and he's going around, and it's like he's cocky, he's like making jokes and stuff. Like I just love the swaggy scientist.
He's look at the guy, man. I mean, come on.
He would listen. I mean, obviously Cillian Murphy's playing him. Cillian Murphy's not a bad looking man, but Robert Oppenheimer himself also not a bad looking dude. He's got. I don't know. Well, just the real person, I guess.
I mean, skinny guy in slouchy suit smoking cigs is a universally appealing thing.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And no offense to the other scientists, other than Richard Feynman, I think that
Richard
everyone
Feynman,
else. Feynman, I feel like everyone else is kind of a fucking.
Do you want to hear something? So during the Manhattan Project, so I learned about Richard Feynman a little bit more. I had heard of him, but I didn't too much know about his personal life. During the Manhattan Project, so he was pretty young. He married his high school sweetheart who was like dying of leukemia, and then she died right before the Trinity test. And like he left for a little bit to go like visit her. And when he came back, everyone was like, yeah, he was like really dedicated after that. Like he just threw himself into it. And so, but yeah, just when you see him playing the bongos, just know that his wife died like 2 weeks ago.
Jack Quaid. I mean, when I watched it the second time, I noticed him more because at this time I was paying attention to like names of characters.
Because I mean, it's like Richard Feynman. He's like what, like one of the most famous American scientists.
They name drop him a lot in Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
And he was like a hippie like later on in life. He was like a really like liberal guy.
Yeah, because he was probably one of the younger he was one of the younger scientists over there, right? Like,
yeah.
Again, I don't know for sure, but
and I think I don't know if I have some pictures of him in there, but if you look him up like in the 30s and 40s, like he looks cool. Like he looks like a young old. Yeah. He has a very contemporary face, is what I'm saying.
Well, because I mean, they do say that like there were like 80 babies born the first year, and then like fucking 20 every week the last year or something like some insane number like that. So again, these people they were fucking. Actually, maybe not Richard Feynman because he was loyal to his dying wife, but
that's right.
All these other scientists, they were all drinking fucking like science alcohol. mixed with water and stuff like that, and doing crazy radioactive drugs or something.
Yeah, I mean, there is that one scene, right, where the female scientist's like, we can't have you do it. We don't know what it's gonna do to your womb. It's like, well, you guys are more exposed than I am. You guys are
Yeah.
like, I think that was kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a lot of the movie goes into like, I mean, a lot of the early stuff for Oppenheimer is mainly done to show his ties to leftist or even communist activity. You know, his
Yeah.
brother is a part of the party. His brother's
All his
wife
friends
Jackie
are
that he can't
all
that he doesn't
all his
remember.
friends' wives who he's sleeping with. They're all in the party too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you think
that's his
of
favorite
the
thing.
Bhagavad Gita's scene where she's like, "Hey, read this while you fuck me," and he's like, "I am become
And he
dead."
says it. Yeah, and he says it directly to her boobs.
Is that in the book? Like, I wonder, like, why did
I
they
don't
do it
think.
that
I
way?
really doubt that's in the book. There's no way that part is in the book. I think. I don't know. It was. I did read something, an interview with Nolan where he was talking about how he read the book, and he the book talk like, because I don't think Nolan, he's not a very like sexy director, right? There's never been like a sex scene in a Nolan movie that I can remember.
Maybe Inception.
Oh, how about Dark Knight
Like,
Rises? Do we see him and
oh,
Talia al Ghul?
that's
But
right.
that's
We
like,
do.
isn't that just like a fade to black type thing?
I think it shows them making out, like, and her, like, she's like wearing, like there's like it's her back. You know, like
Yeah,
like a
but you never get
post-coital
fucking
scene.
like penetration in a Nolan movie.
And
But
this
I
time
did
you do.
think I saw an interview. I was trying to find it, but I saw an interview where he's talking about like reading the book, and like the real Robert Oppenheimer was a guy who liked to sleep with other people's wives and stuff like that. He was
Holly
banging
King,
a lot in the
dude.
30s and 40s, and so he talks about how there's like he views like he thought that like Robert Oppenheimer kind of had a weird, very like self-destructive like relationship with sexuality, and so I wonder if that was like trying to connect the destruction that his sexual habits had on his personal life and then the destruction he caused with the atomic bomb. I don't know, but that is
Dude,
a very goofy scene.
I fuck like the atomic bomb.
I fuck like the atomic bomb. That's what he said to her, and she's like, "What's an atomic bomb?" And he's like, "Oh, just you wait."
You should get that checked.
What is that?
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna make one.
Yeah.
I'm
But let's.
radioactive,
I know
baby.
we've got a lot here, but let's talk about the clothing of Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
I will say again, I wrote this in the article too, but I don't want this to be like he's a style icon, but I do want to say that this movie was very inspiring to me because it's the thing in the most recent memory that it's new that kind of has a lot of period clothing and it's done really really well. Like I normally get inspiration by like, like, oh, okay, I guess I'll look at my Esquire Man stuff, or I'll sit down and I'll look through my books that I've looked over countless times. But this is a new thing, right? This is like new music coming out. I want to see people interpret this thing,
mm-hmm.
and I really loved it. I think it's completely well done. I do think that when you compare it to actual period photos, you can kind of see the difference in like like the lapel shapes, for example, and like the shoulder pads.
But they do a
But
pretty good job of like. I mean, that's the one thing that I liked is you especially see it in the bleacher scene where the celebration after the bombing of Hiroshima, which is just really quick, maybe the best scene in the movie. But I thought they did really really good like approximation of like mid-40s like wartime fashion, especially
yeah,
with like the color
jeans
palette.
and sports shirts and like
Yeah,
like
but
light
like
colors.
yeah, like all these like very kind of like I don't know saturated maybe like these
Yeah,
bright
yeah, yeah.
colors and stuff like that. That to me like that like really I thought did a good job of replicating the look of those like color photographs that you see from like wartime America and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You like I don't know, it doesn't. I think Nolan generally does pretty good with period costuming, right? As far
All
as
you
I
have
remember,
is the prestige.
I mean, I thought the costumes in the Prestige were pretty good. Dunkirk, I guess. There's some
From
civilian
the
outfits in
kid,
Dunkirk.
yeah. Like
Um,
the kid who who falls and gets his head fucked up.
yeah, I do like that Cillian Murphy is wearing his pants appropriately high. We complain about Killian. Shut up. It's fine. But we've talked about how there's a lot of actors in period pieces who they clearly like hike down their pants in between takes
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff like that because they're just not comfortable
That
with
photo
it.
I have of Rami Malek, he's clearly wearing his suspenders off. Like you can see it dangling underneath his jacket. It's like he does not want to wear those if he wasn't on set.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he's got, that is a pretty 40s looking suit. I doubt it's vintage. It looks like it was made
They say it's
for
made
him.
for him. The I think you can tell by like the shoulder, like the
The lapels
lapels,
and the shoulders.
lapels.
Yeah.
I think that the lapels are fine. I think that they'd be just have a little bit
They
of
got
a
an
different
appropriate
shape.
width.
Yeah, he does wear Hollywood top trousers with a thinner belt, which is cool. But what I want to say, and something that unfortunately we don't have a lot of photos of or at all, is that he does. They do show it like a you know I guess a narrative through like when he's in the 20s where he's wearing he wears a gray yoke belt back suit with a sweater vest, club
Oh, that's
collar
right.
shirt, and knit tie
Yeah.
when he's supposed to be in England or wherever, Cambridge or
Europe,
whatever,
whatever.
Oxford, where he's wearing that, and he's going also when the thing is he wears that outfit only, so like when he goes to like see not only Niels Bohr, but when he goes to see Heisenberg, it's the same exact outfit. So whatever. Technically, he should be wearing something else. But yeah, he wears that a lot. And then when he starts teaching at Berkeley or Caltech, they never say exactly when he's
Well,
in Pasadena.
all those were
and when he's up
shot
there.
at Berkeley.
Okay, so
and
he's
it's
up-
also funny because there's another scene where they go to what they say is some other university, but that's the stadium at Berkeley too. That's like,
Oh yeah, he's supposed to be at Chicago at the Met Lab or whatever.
yeah, but it's like they're just at Berkeley again.
Yeah, but in those scenes before the war, he wears a three-piece peak lapel suit. At least in a couple of scenes before transitioning to a single or a notch lapel suit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, they're really going like 30s. Like I don't have
That's
photos
that's
of it
how they
yet.
show the
but
difference
he-
between the 30s and the 40s.
Yeah, and then once he starts working for that at Manhattan Project, he wears single-breasted notch lapel, and then he sheds the waistcoat in favor of just having the shirt and tie and everything like that. Hat.
But
one
he's
thing
well, what are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like I was gonna say that the costumers say that his silhouette didn't change. It does, and you can they clearly did it, but I think they're maybe just referring to like overall, like it's just a very baggy look.
Yeah. Well,
the
because it's like
costumers
also
do-
like fucking. You
they-
see how
yeah.
skinny Cillian Murphy
He is,
I said
yeah.
it right. It's like he
Skinny
It's
legend.
very easy to imagine what he'd look like as a skeleton in the scene where he takes off all of his clothes.
Of course.
But it's like I feel like it would be hard not to have something fit a little bit like his suits. You know how baggy and boxy everything
And
is.
I like that he puts his hands on his waist a little bit to kind of like it just there's some menswear poses that he definitely does throughout the film that I'm
Yeah.
like, hell yeah, brother, you got it. What is really funny though is that, and the costumers call it as such, he does have his superhero suit up scene. So when they first started building
Which
Los
is,
Alamos,
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought that was so funny.
that was so cheesy. But he's like when he's taking Isidore, played by Jason Krumholtz.
David Krumholtz, yeah.
David Krumholtz, yeah. So he's wearing like a military uniform, and he's like, "What the fuck are you wearing, dude?" And he's like, "Well, we're in the military, we're in the armed forces now." He's like, "Just wear your just be who you are." And then it literally cuts to him going like, "Okay, here's the suit, here's the Western belt, here's the pipe, and here's the fucking fedora, baby."
And it's all laid out in front of him. Like, yeah, it's like the fucking batarang and his belt or whatever. It's just
Yeah,
like,
the cowl like going on. You know?
And he
And-
does take so long to put on that hat. And that's something that I was like, this is kind of cheesy. Because, again, if you're a person, like, if you were in 1943 or whatever, and you were a guy, like most men who wore a hat every day, you don't take 40 seconds to put on your hat and then, like...
Also,
you
in
know.
the photos of actual Oppenheimer, that hat is like it's like Indiana Jones' hat. It's like fucking fucked up, dude. He just
It
wore
is.
that shit.
I mean, you kind of see that in the movie. There's a scene where he's wearing it in the rain, and it does look just like really floppy. Like the brim loses all its shape and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think when they actually drop the bomb too, like it's like windy, so it's kind of like it shows how light it is. It's kind of like moving. and everything.
Yeah, and so did you already pull up the article about the hat specifically? I can.
Well, I
send that
found
in
the Facebook group or the Facebook post where they're talking about it.
Oh, okay.
So this is done by the Manhattan Project National Historical Park. And they're talking about how people think it's a pork pie hat, and I think this is so funny because people always bring this up. People always say that whenever, and like someone even told me that my boater was a pork pie hat. I'm like, no, a pork pie hat has a telescope crown, but it's also characterized where the brim is not wider than it is tall, and
Well,
Oppenheimer's hat is clearly not that.
here's how they describe it. The costume designer says that the Oppenheimer only wears one hat throughout the entire film, which he described as a hybrid of a pork pie crown with a somewhat Western brim. That's what she said.
It's just a fedora with a telescope brim. Like Cody
Yes,
makes
it
this shit
is.
all the time. Like that's just
Yeah, and that's the other funny thing. She talks about how she went to every hat maker and she's like, no one could get it with the right fabric and stuff like that. She was saying that all the like felt was like too thin, so I'm guessing that everyone was just
like
using
wool
wool
felt. Yeah,
It's like, yeah, just go to a fucking place like Cody or like any of the other dozen like hat makers that we know that go for the vintage crowd, who get the nice fucking fur felt from.
They went to
Europe.
Gorin Bros or whatever. Like, oh, what Gorin Bros couldn't help us here? Fuck off, dude.
But it is, they just went to a Hollywood hat shop, which let me see if they mentioned the name.
I forgot what it was. It's like, I don't know, Boss hats.
But anyway, I'll send this photo really quick in our Discord chat. That is a photo of the hat in its box.
Oh, Baron.
You can
Baron hats.
Baron hats. There you go. As in Baron von Hat.
If the customers are listening to this, just use Cody. Cody will get it right, baby. Cody's the best.
Yeah.
Or Joyride. Gotta shout out the boys at Joyride. Garahan.
Yeah.
Hats.
There you go. I do like. I mean, so yeah. What do we think of this hat? I don't know. I just. What do we? He was probably just wearing a Stetson, right? He had to have just been wearing some sort of Stetson.
Yeah, or he like molded it to be like that or something. I don't know. It looks very again like Indiana Jones.
It's probably a hat that he had for like a long time. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's funny because when you look at the photos of him, like it's not even like. It's not even shaped like the way Killian's wearing it. Like it just seems like it's like down on all sides almost sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
And again, you see that in some scenes, but yeah, not always. The suit he's wearing is a whipcord. That is noted in this article.
And you can tell it's good. That works for like a 1940s, at least for drape and everything. I like that they kept the fly long.
Mm-hmm.
Good
pleats.
But yeah, he basically wears this for the rest of the film.
I like how somber his looks are. Like he always just wears like the tan, like or brown like gabardine whipcord suit. He has like a blue spear point, which later does he switch to a button-down collar? I can't remember what he wears.
No, I don't think at all. He wears spear points or at least a point collar the whole time.
Yeah, and then we get he's got just like his point collars with like what looks to be like wool military ties and stuff like that, and which makes sense, especially in the Manhattan Project scenes.
Yeah, I mean even in the photos I have of him, like he's wearing like solid ties.
He wears a lot of solids. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no Esquire man of like striped spear point with check jacket and everything else. It's pretty straightforward, which again I like, and I guess it kind of works out for the film because you don't normally have a main character dressed too flashy in that way unless you're like Mordecai, played by
who isn't
Johnny
Mordecai?
Depp.
Yeah.
I like that again, Spencer. You mentioned the rain fit where he comes across the meeting of the people.
He's dressed like a
protesting
cowboy.
the bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also he wears like a wax cotton trench coat or whatever, but like buttoned all the way to the top. There's a little bit of a fur lining there, and he is a man coming from means. He has an insult where he's all like, "Oh, I know what it's like to come from means. My father was one." Like, fuck you.
Which is a pretty funny. That's a pretty funny joke.
Yeah, but he does have like his own riding outfits that you see a couple of times. He wears like a navy blue short jacket, which I think I sold to MJ, and the
because he loves the he loves the Southwest. That's one of the things he says.
Oppenheimer or D'Angelo Vickers, the guy who loves the American Southwest.
That's true. We kind of got a D'Angelo Vickers on our hands.
Yeah, wearing a turquoise belt. I think they both wear that.
Yeah. You gotta post a photo of both of their outfits.
D'Angelo,
together.
next to each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, Oppenheimer kind of just mainly wears that, just very somber stuff. But what's really inspiring to me is the rest of the scientists. I know the costumer says that they put a bunch of stuff together and they kind of like laid it all out there, but the actors also like kind of pick stuff that they would like for their character. Obviously, some characters get glasses over some other ones, but they wanted each scientist to have their own look, even though that it's pretty obvious that the scientists dress pretty drab in real life, like they're just wearing suits, but some characters, like Lawrence, the I guess I couldn't tell if he's conservative. I guess because he's really
He's just-
anti-union, or
He's
at
just
least
like I don't think he's necessarily He's just like a put your nose down and
Yeah,
like, do
kinda
your
guy.
job. Don't like don't
Yeah.
fucking shake the boat kind of guy.
Yeah, but he gets to wear a collar bar with a brocade tie a couple of times in a
Yeah.
three-piece.
Oh, I've seen
Again,
really quick. I have seen the people describe him as like he's like Oppenheimer is all theory and all in his head and stuff like that, and Lawrence is the practical guy. He's like
he is testing it. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, exactly.
But he does get to wear the hexagonal glasses, which are really cool for the period. And a lot of the scientists, like even though they wear suits or jackets a couple of times, a lot of them just wear the shirts, so you can kind of see like their high-waisted pants. Some of them wear the suspenders or thin belts, which is really cool.
Mhm.
Even though some of them might be wearing vintage jackets, they also are wearing a lot of point collars or spear point collars, but the ties at least are very vintage.
Yeah.
I am curious if all the ties are actually from the 40s, because Teller's tie in one scene where he's talking about the bigger bomb or whatever, he is wearing a very slim block stripe tie, which looks to me maybe like late 50s or early 60s.
Mhm.
But other than that, it's a lot of guys are wearing like striped ties, brocades, foulards, some of them very short,
Yeah.
which again is also very period as well. Um, and yeah, I really like it a lot. I mean, some of them were, beige shirts, which I've been collecting from thrift stores a lot lately for Fraser Core, which we talked about a couple episodes ago. But I
Mhm.
also a couple of them were like Dobby striped shirts in very pale, muted colors, which I also started collecting again because I really want to get on this. And again, I like this because they're intellectual, well, not intellectuals, they're scientists. Ivy connotations are there, but 30s Ivy, so less button-down collar shirts, more spear
Yeah.
points, which I, of course, really like, and I feel like I've neglected that for myself a lot lately because I have a lot of OCBDs or whatever, and I want more point collar shirts
You got
in
OCD.
various colors.
You got some
Um,
cool like short jackets and stuff like that.
yeah, some Spencer stuff right there.
Yeah, there you go. Like especially in some of the testing scenes when they're out like fucking in the bomb sites and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um None of them look vintage. All the collars seem a little bit off, but hey, I'm not gonna yell. I'm not
Matthew
gonna yell at them.
Modine's character, Vannevar Bush, wears a vintage one. That's the one you can see like it's made of gabardine, and you
Okay,
can like
yeah.
you can tell like the shoulder pads are like in that jacket. It looks very
Yeah,
vintage.
the Teller one didn't look as vintage, but
Yeah, that looks
I
very
could be
normal.
wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like how disgusting they make Teller. They kind of make him look like a sweaty slob the whole time.
Yeah, obsessed
You
with
get some
hydrogen.
some scientists doing another very Spencer thing. There's a photo of one of the scientists wearing like a chambray shirt with like a silk brocade tie.
Yeah, that's
Um,
Lawrence. Yeah.
oh, that's Lawrence. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very
But yeah,
Spencer.
a lot of very somber, muted looks from the scientists in general.
Yeah, but
Um,
still fun because you can compare them to the government officials later, which again is maybe like a decade after that. But they're the government officials are a little bit more like proto Ivy League kind of stuff.
I was gonna say
Mad Men esque.
if you just showed me a photo of like Jason Clark or whatever, like of him and the people behind him, and even like Oppenheimer, it's like and say it's like guess what year this takes place just based on costumes alone. I would probably have said sometime in the '60s. Like that did not seem like 1953 or 1954 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, I understand. Like again, I'm trying to divorce just like period costuming nerd from like the filmmaking, costume design, because what they're probably trying to do is like these are all, yeah, like you said,
Distinct eras later on in the.
but it's like, well, no, like you were saying, it's like these are all the very like they're government
Oh
men. They're
yeah.
all like very like plain and like serious and stuff like that. It would be kind of weird if they were all in like bold look shit, I guess, but
Yeah, I
it
was
was
trying to figure
1954.
out like what eras, because Christopher Nolan doesn't put time or doesn't have like a date for any of this stuff. You kind of just figure it out by like
Hmm.
how old someone looks or whatever.
And also just knowing real history, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Strauss has some fun looks though. I mean, not I guess
yeah,
not fun, but like rich guy looks, I guess, or
yeah,
whatever.
because he's the most. I read an interview with the costume designer where they were like, yeah, he's supposed to be the most like put together guy.
Hmm.
And so that's what he's got on.
Yeah, he
Uh,
wears when he first meets Oppenheimer, he wears like a shadow striped gray suit, with like abstract tie. I guess I think it's like paisleys or whatever. Uh,
yeah.
in the behind the scene or the production photo of it, He's wearing some crazy boots. I don't know why the hell he's
really?
wearing those.
Is it
Yes.
like a thing to make him taller?
Maybe, but just look. If you scroll to the top of the Instagram album, you'll see
I'm
it.
trying.
It's,
Yeah, I'm scrolling up.
it's really weird.
Do you
I don't know.
remember? Do you remember before most of the set photos came out, there was a Photoshop. Oh, I see those. Those are fucking ugly boots. Jesus. Yeah, they're like two-tone. What the hell?
Maybe
You
maybe
don't
that's
ever see
maybe
his
maybe
feet.
that's no, you don't. But maybe that's like the Robert Downey Jr. thing that you're like,
I was
gotta
gonna
have
say
it.
that could just be his shoes, but they're shooting in black and white. I guess you wouldn't notice. But do you remember there was a photo, and it's this photo. Someone photoshopped him to be really fat, and they were like, "This is what Robert Downey Jr. looks like in Oppenheimer." And for like a week or two, people people just believed that, which
I
is.
did not see that at all. I don't know.
I'll
what
have
that
to try
is.
to. I'll find not fat Oppenheimer, fat Strauss. I'll find
Fat
fat
Strauss.
Strauss. There should be a
Yeah.
fat Oppenheimer. There's a skinny Superman. Why isn't there a fat Oppenheimer?
You also get Strauss wearing some black tie. He wears like a Homburg and like a wing collar when they're
I
talking
saw
about the
someone
super
point
bomb.
out.
Yeah.
I saw someone, I think on the Oppenheimer subreddit or something, go. It's like, okay, so this dinner sequence or this dinner scene is set in like February. Why is he wearing an ivory dinner jacket? And I went, wait, he's not though.
No, I think they were talking. Yeah, it's not that scene, but there's another scene where it's Strauss's son's wedding, and it's like
Oh, that's right.
I want you to meet he wants to meet the guy who made the bomb, and then Oppenheimer
Yeah.
brushes him off, and he does wear a DB
He wears an
dinner
ivory
jacket
dinner
in that scene.
jacket in that one, but
But we
people-
don't know when
I-
that's taking place, so
There you go.
also,
I
it's
did think it was
acceptable to wear
funny.
it whenever you want. I mean, maybe back then, maybe you could make the argument.
I just
guys
thought it was
were-
funny
yeah.
to. I just thought it was funny seeing that post on the Oppenheimer subreddit because most Reddit guys I feel like would not notice that or think about that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was kind of funny. But yeah, we get two black tie scenes. Again, there's one where this is right after the Soviets test their first atomic bomb,
Just
right?
fired a starting gun.
Yeah, and he's like, Oppenheimer, I got the notes right here, or whatever.
Yeah. These like it just
Oppy.
it's like little like lines like, oh look, there's radioactive activity over here or whatever.
Yeah, and so they're like, oh shit, like because, I mean, there's a great scene with evil Truman, where
Oh, yeah, okay.
Psycho
Yeah,
Psycho Truman. Do we want to talk about Psycho Truman really
That's the
quick?
best thing. Okay, so first off, I like that they gave him a bow tie because Truman did wear bow ties a lot.
Yeah.
That's like his thing.
He he was buried under fucking pounds of makeup, but they did a decent job of making. Him
Yeah,
look
I was gonna say like
Truman,
I mean he
guess.
like Truman looks
got the
in
same
real
hair.
life younger than
Gary
or he
Oldman.
looks like Oldman looks like a zombie. Makes him look like a zombie Truman a little bit.
He does.
right?
He looks so scary in this movie.
There is I do have a photo of him in the in notes in the MJ album somewhere.
Yeah.
I like it's just so good. He's also there with the Secretary of War or whatever the other guy's name is. I don't know what the fuck that guy is, but the
Mhm.
whole like, so Los Alamos, what should we do with it? And it's like give it back to the Indians. And he frowns like he's so disappointed, and then
And he like leans back, you know.
he's like, oh, wrong answer, you know.
Yeah. And it's
I
just
just-
immediate, and then he's like, "I killed those people, and I'll do it again."
Yeah, he's like it's like Southern Inquisitor, dude. It's like
Yeah.
it's like don't
Get
let
that
the
crybaby out of here.
Yeah.
And again, this was like based on a real like a thing that happened where like Oppenheimer went in there and had a fucking mental breakdown. And then he I think it was a very similar exchange. Where he said it's
Yeah.
like they don't care about you, they care about me, and then it was like get that. I think he said he called him like a sanctimonious crybaby or something.
Hell yeah, sanctimonious bastard.
Yeah.
No, I do like it because like the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, like is it like you're kind of not humanizing him, but like kind of giving like he's also carrying this whole thing, and like like don't, it's not always about you. But the next time, the second one, I found a little bit more like vindictive, like fuck you, bitch, I'm the one who
Well,
did
because
all
also
this shit.
like you think about just the historical context of like his presidency, like what he took
And
office like
he had
fucking,
no
like,
idea about it too.
Yeah,
you know?
he didn't. No one told him about the Manhattan Project because they didn't trust him. And so I think part of the like I think it's kind of like posturing of him being like, well, no, I'm the one that did this. This is like actually me, even though he didn't really have anything to do with it.
Yeah. When did FDR die? at
Roosevelt
43?
die? No, he died in 45. FDR. Let me just find out
You
exactly
think
when he died.
Potsdam was the first time you ever heard about anything? Imagine, like,
It was like right. I mean, it was like pretty shortly before.
yeah,
So he died on April 12th, 1945, and the bombs were dropped in August, right?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
Um,
That's wild.
have you seen photos of Franklin Roosevelt from like 44 and like 45? Because
Where you can see
he
how decrepit he's become.
he looks dead already. Like it's like there are just like flies buzzing around in his skull. Like, um, but there you go. Anyway, so yeah, there's a fun scene with Truman.
Yeah.
Um,
I to go back to Strauss really quick. I do like his cream tie fit with the
mhm.
with the dark suit and everything.
Yeah.
Before I get to my one of my favorite costuming stuff, I want to say Alden Einrich, whatever his fucking name, Han
Oh
Solo.
yeah, yeah.
He wears.
Alden
It's supposed to
Solo.
be like 1955, 56. When's his
Is it
confirmation
like
hearing?
58 or something? It's
58.
like
But he's wearing like a
wait, no,
40s
it's if it.
suit.
Yeah.
Like the lapels look super 40s, and like maybe he's young, so he's wearing like his dad's suit. I don't know what the fuck thing, but like he'd be wearing like a bold suit. He'd be a young guy. He'd be wearing a bold look suit.
Yeah.
And
I
I
mean, again,
wish there was a photo of him, but that he like that's one of those things where
well, this is a made up
we don't have
character.
that.
This is the
Yeah.
audience surrogate.
What I thought was funny is that like he's not a staffer for like he's just a congressional guy, but he's like so like you got yours, bad guy. Like does this guy really care that much? Like would he really like not like
He
Strauss
well,
that
you know,
much?
he came into Washington an idealist, and he believed that everyone was there to do the will of the people or something. And then when Strauss was like, actually, I just hated this guy, so I had him kicked out. He's like, wait, you're telling me that politicians do bad things?
And then
It's
now
like
then
just
they're like, yeah, we got yours, baby. He got yours, baby.
yeah, I do love the fucking. That is such a villain reveal when they like zoom out of the scene that we've already like that they showed us before, and then like Strauss is just sitting on the couch like scheming. It's so funny.
Yeah. What does he say? Like amateurs played up, but real power hides in the shadows. It's like
Yeah,
okay.
because it's like so again, if you haven't seen the movie, Oppenheimer's fall comes because a scientist that he worked. Who is this guy's relationship to Oppenheimer? He was
I
just a
mean
crazy
Borden?
like anti-communist. Yeah. Did he work on the Manhattan Project? I can't remember.
No, he
No,
was a
because he was a
congressional
soldier.
slash. You're talking about Dane DeHaan's character,
No, well, not Dane DeHaan.
the other
I'm
guy, the guy
talking
who
about
wrote the letter.
yeah, the letter.
Yeah, no, that guy was just someone that Strauss
He was
hired, or not hired, but like gave the file to. So like it was like
yeah, but
I
okay,
think he
because
worked for the FBI, so it was supposed to imply that the FBI was
oh,
already
that's
looking
right.
at him or whatever or something.
Well,
I don't
no,
know.
because the whole thing is he didn't have the clearance to read any of those records, which is what they were. So that's the thing. He's this crazy anti-communist,
Yeah.
and they were like, "This is gonna be the guy that we're gonna give the files to. He's gonna write a letter, and that's going to like all that's gonna do is gonna like make us like that's gonna prompt
Force
us
us
to
to
do
have
this
to, yeah.
investigation." Yeah, because it's we have to do our due diligence, and then we can just fucking feed him to the dogs and stuff like that. And so yeah, there's a scene where we see Dane DeHaan, who glad to see him back, the Green Goblin himself. Um, but
Yeah.
he's back, and he's the creepiest like military aide, whatever, to Matt Damon, and then. Yeah, we see a scene earlier in the movie where he gives the one guy the Oppenheimer's clearance or sorry his files, and then we're shown it again later, but this
And
time the
then
camera pulls back and
and
Robert
Strauss
Downey
is sitting in
Jr.
the
is on the
background.
couch, being like, "Yes, my plan." Yeah, it's great. Do we talk about just a couple
God, I
stray
love
like
that.
military
Well,
characters?
I love that what's it called? That Nolan always has his like villain reveals like Hugh Man or whatever.
Yeah, gotta love Hugh Man. And we had Matt Damon was pretty good in this one too.
Yeah, playing a good guy this time.
Yeah, the best guy ever, the U.S. military.
But
But
the best outfit is worn by none other than Albert Einstein, who gets to wear
oh
that
man,
fun like knit cap, like he's wearing it like, kind of like a beret. Like it's not like a skull cap. It's just kind of like a little knit hat that he's wearing
yeah.
that with like a crew neck sweater and overcoat or whatever. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, this guy
And he's
rocks.
like, you are going to destroy the world."
you know that your math is not as good as mine, or no, my
Yeah.
math is just as good as yours, or whatever. Then his like
You
black
guys
fedora.
never liked me.
Yeah, like just know when they give you an award, it's for
For
them,
them.
or yeah, whatever.
Yeah, because it's like, what is he? Is he saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when
Tell me
he's
what you
saying
thought, because
that-
I was confused about what the hell this meant.
Oh.
Okay, so I took it as two different things. It could be either giving the award to like apologize for, it's like, hey, sorry we called you a useless old man or whatever, because that's what happens with Oppenheimer later. He gets the award, which is basically the U.S. government apologizing for taking away security clearance. But is it also just like you're giving them an award because you're like, we've surpassed you, now we're, your time is up, now it's our time, and so we're giving you this award, but by doing so,
like a lifetime achievement award is like you're
yeah,
done
it's like
now.
we're passing the torch from you to us.
I think
basically.
it was for me. It was a little bit of that, and it was kind of like your work here is done, sort of thing. Like you did what we had you on here for, and then now it's like
Mm-hmm.
we're retiring you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, isn't that like in Veep where they give her like a lifetime achievement award, but she's like, I'm
Yeah.
not done yet, or whatever.
There's a couple. I know that's been a plot point, and there's like some showbiz show where that happens, where they give someone a lifetime achievement award.
Did that happen
And
in
they're like,
Mad Men too, or something?
Maybe, I don't know. There's a lot of awards in Mad Men. When we do our Mad Men episode, we'll figure
Oh
it
yeah,
out.
I gotta rewatch that. Gotta rewatch that.
Such a good show, man.
but
Well,
yeah.
I don't know how you're gonna rewatch it because they just took it off Amazon.
Damn. Okay, well, no more.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I own it.
Yeah, but overall, I think the costuming is done really well. I think
Yeah.
it's again
Oh,
to be very
really
inspiring.
quick.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to talk about who's the evil guy? Affleck, Casey Affleck,
Oh yeah.
what's his Bash?
Pash.
That guy, he's so fucking scary in that scene, man.
I didn't know he was
is-
in it. That's the thing. I have like no idea. That was kind of a
And
fun
it's like
one.
they hide him, like
They have
like
they have all the
fir-
shots like behind his head, and then like they reveal it or whatever.
It's so, how they set him up is, it's like, yeah, they have all these shots from behind, and then just a voiceover of like Matt Damon being like, "Oh shit, this is the scariest guy ever."
Yeah, this guy's dad like hates communists, and his dad died, and he went there to fight.
So they were.
communists.
I mean, I read about the guy. It is pretty fucking crazy. Born in the United States, born in like San Francisco. They moved to Russia in the 1910s. He had to fight against, like, to fight
Bolsheviks,
for.
yeah.
Well, first to fight for the Russians during World War One, and then during the Russian Civil War, they joined the White Army to fight the Bolsheviks and stuff like that. And then he came back and just dedicated his life to being an anti-communist here. But yeah, he's like the head of security for the Manhattan Project, and there's an incredible scene where Oppenheimer just completely fucks his life over. Like, this is where he like fucked everything up, is this one conversation, which is like basically how they revoked his security clearance, where he mentions to one of the guys, it's like, hey, by the way, you might want to look at this guy who may be involved in some espionage.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the whole thing is, one of the guys in Chicago, was one of the union guys in his old stuff, and now he's over there trying to unionize the lab there, and so to prevent him from being removed from it, he's trying to say that he's not really unionizing, it's this British guy, because who we also see who was also like one of the guys at the union thing for the FACT or whatever, and then he also brings up. He kind of pins it on this British guy who we never really know what happens to that guy, but we say that he brings up the Chevalier incident where his friend Chevalier in Berkeley says like, I can give like, hey, since we're friends with the Russians, we can give them information if you just send it to me here. So he tries to say it wasn't him. It's trying to pin the story on someone else, but that just makes everyone think. If you can't even tell us who that is, we're gonna think it's you who's doing this, and so that's what happens. And so, he does fuck it up because he tries to make some fake story to save his friend, and then fucks himself up.
Like, what does he tell Batch? Because like the entire time, Casey Affleck is just like staring at him like a shark, and it's like he can tell that he's like bullshitting his way through this whole story and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's just
he's like.
it
was actually 3 guys or something.
Something dumb like that. But that's a really good scene. I really like that. Like Casey Affleck. alleged abuser.
Yeah, and a scary guy in this movie and probably in real life. Florence Pugh, I thought she was great. She's only in a couple scenes, but she's like a slightly unstable. What's her job? She's a communist, but then
I
what's she
think she's
do?
like a literature major or something, or
Something.
PhD.
She has those vibes. Like,
I mean, you're
um,
telling, yeah, this
the-
is if we talk about I'm him, dude, come on, leftist intellectual guy with the with the wild girl, and then cheating on
who
everything,
like
polyamorous.
get like unmounts you to fucking judge your bookshelf.
Yeah, that's fucking I'm him, dude.
Yeah.
Um,
There you
but
go. But she's
yeah.
pretty good. I like the death scene.
Oh, where you
Where
see like a
they
different hand or
where
whatever, like
I thought that was pretty well done. Okay, hold on. What do you think of the actual Trinity test itself? Because the first time I saw it, um, maybe this was because of the pre-movie cocktail or something that I had, but the first time I saw it, the actual explosion, like I just couldn't stop thinking about the end of the world, and so to me it was very affecting. I understand some people are like, oh, it's not as big as a real atomic explosion would be or whatever, but I don't know. I just thought all those close-ups where all you see is fire. I was like, Jesus Christ, I kind of get it. But what
I
did you
didn't
think of the
I
actual?
I didn't think it was that interesting to me. I feel like it made
Yeah.
perfect sense. I feel like, like I've kind of said before that Christopher Nolan is like the film bro, where like it's straightforward to me. Like, I if I was making this movie and the bomb goes off, I would also make it quiet. I would do this whole thing, and obviously in real life it is delayed, right? The shockwave and
Mm-hmm.
everything. But yeah, it feels kind of straightforward to me. Um, yeah, that's my take on it. I mean,
I don't know. I liked I really 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 liked the build up to the Trinity test because I felt like he did a really good job of just like I don't know, creating this tone of like anxiety and like kind of dread as you led up to it. Like the music, I know that you hated the score, but I remember like they just started adding a lot more like just droning, music. You started hearing the bleachers, which again, that scene is like so
I
fucking
like
scary.
that. I like that scene more, like the post Trinity test
Oh
thing. I
yeah,
think
because
that's
that's
what's really cool.
yeah, geez, that I mean, hey, that reminds me we were talking about Blonde earlier, but it's like the same kind of thing where it's like the scene of Marilyn, or I guess the actress, because it's not technically supposed to be Marilyn Monroe, I guess, but if it's the Ana de Armas going through the crowd and everyone has these like kind of monstrous distorted faces. I thought like
Yeah, kind of
Nolan,
surreal kind of thing. It's like his.
like
Yeah,
Nolan
this is like
did.
it's his version of
Like
that. I feel like.
yeah, the close-ups of all the faces, I don't think there was no like CGI. He wasn't like swirling people's features around like they did in Blonde or whatever, or like making everyone's like mouths and eyes like huge, but
Yeah.
they did look like monstrous. I don't know if it was like they all just like red-faced pig people, like they didn't look human.
Yeah, and I mean, you have
um
the skin peeling off. You have like that one random
oh
scream, which
yeah,
I thought was
Jesus, which is his
really
daughter.
haunting.
Yeah, that was like fucking like again the first time seeing that in the theater, where like I don't even know how you think to do this, where all the sound cuts out, you only hear the sounds of people's like feet shuffling, their like clothes rustling and stuff like that, the chairs,
Yeah.
but you don't actually hear the clapping, and then you just hear a single scream. But just that use of sound design, I thought was like that whole scene is so fucking good,
Yeah, I like that a lot, and like I like that like when he walks through, he steps on like a corpse, I guess, but like a whatever remains. You have that.
Mm-hmm.
You have like the shots of people like crying and laughing and celebrating and having sex and crying, and you
Yeah.
get the guy throwing up, which I think is kind of fun. Like, is that guy throwing up because of this? Is this guy throwing up because like he's supposed to be like radiation poisoning? Like, you just don't
No,
really
I saw
know.
some people saying that, but I think that's just like him. I think that's just supposed to be like Oppenheimer looking around and just being disgusted. Like, it's like he's seeing that guy throwing up. Like, you see people like passing around bottles and stuff like that. I think it's just like, he's not in a great headspace. And then he sees this guy that's like fucking partying after they just killed however many tens of thousands of people. And like throwing up and just like looking like, pathetic.
Yeah.
And then Oppenheimer just kind of looks at him with like disgust or whatever.
I guess I read it more as like kind of like, I guess discuss like kind of like fear. Like, this is how we're reacting to this kind of thing.
Yeah, or it's like, is this who we are? Like, that's the kind of thing. But yeah. Oh, I really liked all the like visualizations of abstract physics concepts. I thought those were all really cool. Like, so you see those in his in the early scenes, which are like, it's he lived basically in the same period as like the birth of theoretical physics and stuff like that. So you kind of see that that science evolve along with him, I guess. And so there's a lot of scenes of him just like thinking about atoms and getting freaked the fuck out and stuff like that.
That's so funny. Oh my god, these atoms are scary.
Yeah, he's like, oh, the string theory, and he's just having anxiety attacks just thinking about like molecules. Thank God I'm not a STEM major, right?
Yeah, yeah. I also like when he's like staring at the Picasso painting or whatever. He's just like, oh shit, man.
Listen,
like, I mean,
okay,
he's like an intellectual in real life or whatever. He's supposed to be like a
and I
cultured
think
guy.
this movie, I think, condemns Oppenheimer a lot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like every scientist I read now, like they're all like, oh, who needs fucking philosophy? Who needs books? Give me science and math, baby. And it's like, I don't know. I wish there were more scientists that actually took an appreciation of art and philosophy and like, music. Like it seems like a lot of the scientists in this movie do.
Yeah.
But,
you want to know here's why I don't here's the scene I don't like about the score. When Niels Bohr is like, it is not about the equations, but
You
if
have
you
to
can
hear the
hear the
music."
music, can you hear the music? He's like, yeah, I can hear the music. And then it plays again, Film Bro 101. Oh, he's talking about music. Let's play some fucking fake ass classical music because that's what his head's supposed to be thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like so on the nose. It's like the same thing as like, oh, there's a duck walking. Let's use like a bassoon to be like,
Let's use some
you know what I
quacking
mean?
noise.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
a little bit like, and I know everyone loves it, but I'm like, it's just going back to the menswear like philosophy thing that I'm kind of like working on here, where it's like some of the best menswear is like it's not straightforward. There are subtle cues that you can do, and that's what makes a good film score. You know what I mean? Like Star
Mm-hmm.
Wars, like you have fanfares, but like it's not just trumpets. Like you have like the rebel fanfare is like these really big blocky chords. It's very triumphant, but the Imperial March uses trumpets too. It's a more the darker type of fanfare. Like so, there's a lot of ways you can play around with this, and I'm sure Ludwig Göransson is good. I think other stuff he's worked on is better. I think this kind of score works best for like a Tenet thing. I think with this one, it would have been cooler to have a more thematic idea of Oppenheimer, and I'm pretty sure that string line thing, because it also plays at the end of the movie, I feel like is kind of his theme, but it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
really do it. It still it could be for anybody. It doesn't feel like it's his thematic identity. It just feels, and there's a lot of scenes where like this music is just too loud. It's building up tension for like no reason. I think there's one scene where he's talking to uh, Dane DeHaan's character, and he's like, he's getting his security clearance, and it's playing like these like Stravinsky-esque like dun dun dun, and I'm like,
Yeah.
they're just talking, man. Like I feel like there's other ways to do this, and I think again Ludwig Göransson just kind of plays it on the nose. But again, that's what Nolan likes to do. Like he is the film bro. He likes to do these things to the highest degree possible in a best way. But it's still like I'm surprised there wasn't like if this movie was made like the '90s, you would have like Latin choir for something. You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
see,
Like it's
do you
on
know
the
that there
nose.
was a movie that it's hold on, it's called Trinity.
Oh, that's right.
That was made in the '90s. That is kind of this movie. It's not really this movie because it's like I think it's more just about the Manhattan Project. I don't know if Robert Oppenheimer is a major character in that. Trinity movie. I accidentally Googled. Well, anyway, I watched a couple scenes from it. It is very funny to see like the '90s Oppenheimer, like to see the '90s version of the atomic bomb test, which I think they do set to like classical music or something, in the '90s version. But yeah,
Yeah.
love the
I want to
'90s.
see how they do it back then. Yeah. Overall, I like the film. This is definitely a film I'd have on in the background because I like watching this for scenes and everything like that. And again, we've talked a lot about the costuming. I think it's done well. Clearly, by the interviews, like they did a lot to like make sure Oppenheimer has like an iconic look. He's the only one wearing a hat, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Here's a couple of pull quotes here. She says, "I've used." The designer says, "I've used suiting throughout my entire career. A suit is never just a suit to me. Anyone who thinks it is just silly. It's about the cut of the suit, what fabrics you choose, what colors you choose, what the shape is." And I'm like, hell yeah, dude! Classic menswear mantra right there. I said that whether or not the clothes were sourced from vintage or designed for the film, it's half and half. All the principal characters were made, designed, and created. They don't use brands. All of Killian and Robert Downey Jr.'s clothes were made. The rest were sourced from costume houses,
Wow.
vintage, and whatever we found them. And again, like for the scientists, they all the things come to play. They got to get to pick, like they have a sweater vest or a three-piece suit, the pin in the collar. They worked with the character or the actors to kind of formulate like what their character would dress like, of course, based on the real one as well. And yeah, I think it's this movie does it well, and I want more period films or just films in general that have
Yeah.
good costuming in it, and maybe we can end on the fact, like, do we think that this is going to be a menswear? I mean, it is a menswear movie. I think people are talking about it a little bit. I mean, I don't think it'll be like a Mad Men thing where everyone's going to start dressing like Oppenheimer. I'm not going to dress
I mean,
like
that would be
Oppenheimer.
nice. I have seen a bunch of people this is mostly like Twitter stands with like Cillian Murphy profile pics and stuff like that, but they'll talk about his snatched slutty waist. But I don't know if that's something that you can necessarily emulate. But so that's what people are picking up on, at least.
Yeah, it's.
I don't understand what they mean by that either, because again, maybe just as a person who wears high-rise pants, I'm like, it's just a normal waist.
Yeah.
There's nothing damn slutty about Robert J. Oppenheimer. Don't you dare call him that.
Yeah,
Actually,
I would love.
He is kind of. I don't know. He's the wife fucker.
And they call him that because he fucks wives.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really like that it's gotten me to kind of, again, to do some somber suiting in a way that's still vintage and not overly Frasier, as we've discussed recently. I've been kind of doing that a lot. So yeah, kind of just reminding me about my roots and how easy it can be and how cool it can be. And hey, if other people get inspired to do it, then I won't look as weird when I'm walking around, So
Yeah.
I also am wearing suspenders a lot, even though you don't see Oppenheimer do it too much. He wears a belt for most of the scenes where he's not wearing a jacket, but some of the scientists get to wear some suspenders. And, I have those Darcy clothing ones that have like the cool red like deco stripe through it, which I really like, that make them feel a lot more vintage. So I've been doing that a lot. But yeah, only time will tell if this goes on. I'm sure when Halloween comes in a couple of months, or I guess a couple of weeks from the release of this episode,
Yeah.
people will probably do some kind of like Barbenheimer mix. Maybe they'll do like pink with like a fedora or something. I feel like that's gonna happen. Did you wear anything for Oppy when you?
Oh yeah,
went?
yeah. So I saw it twice, and my two outfits were both just kind of like just dressing like it was 1945. One outfit was just I had my jean. I did a denim tuxedo with my like Type 1 jacket, which is the like wartime style where they cut down on fabric. So there's 4 buttons and no pocket flap. I wore that with just my jeans, some cowboy boots, and a sweatshirt, and then my Stetson, of course. So that was just kind of like, I'm just a guy from New Mexico in 1945. And then the second one I wore, I had some gabardine pants with a 40s sweater and then a 40s short jacket with just, I think, like a striped shirt, which that was kind of more like, this is what the scientists are wearing in the movie a little bit.
Yeah.
But those were my 2 Oppenheimer outfits, and of course the Stetson for the other one too. You gotta have the Stetson.
Yeah, I wore mine, which is basically straight up Oppenheimer cosplay, I guess, where I wore my Stetson Silver Belly with my brown, like, taupe-ish brown single-breasted suit from Atelier Fugue with a chambray spear point work shirt. I did have my blue Natty Adams one, but yeah, that's kind of a slim shirt. I don't know if MJ or Jay are gonna fight over my old spear points, but I wore that one with
I'll
a
win.
black military tie. Everyone loved my Western belt because it's to a lot of people it looks like the Oppenheimer belt because it's got it is Native American in its design. So I really love wearing that, and then I wore that with cowboy boots, even though in real life he wore chukkas. At least from one photo I have of Oppenheimer where he's, I think, in Berkeley, but he is wearing a suit with leather chukka boots, not suede,
Nice.
but just regular chukka boots. So very very Drake's-esque, I guess, maybe, or whatever. But yeah, I wore that. No one else I saw dressed up for Oppenheimer. That is not something that people dressed up for. But I mean, MJ were walking. Someone gave me a thumbs up. I think they just thought, I don't know if it was for Oppenheimer or they just thought my outfit was cool.
There
But I
you
mean,
go.
okay, like I think my outfit looks straight up Oppenheimer. Like it just looks like it. I think it would be impossible to look at my outfit and be like, oh, that guy's just normally wearing that, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, it's because
Yeah.
it's suit
straight up that.
with fedora. Going to the movies, so.
Yeah, yeah. The second time I watched it, I wore pajamas because I watched it at like
There you
11
go.
o'clock again because I really wanted to see it.
That was
and
me.
the outfit.
The first one, because it was 11.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, go watch it. I guess this is not promotion.
Go
This
watch
is
those
just
movies.
us. We can't. We're not under contract. You know?
Yeah. We're not on a contract. It's fine.
But yeah, I think the costuming is really good there. There's a lot to glean from.
Yeah. So
Um,
extra long episode for one extra long movie and one regular length movie. I
That's
think
right,
2
that's
hours.
right.
Yeah.
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 So enjoy this episode, everybody. Thank you for listening. And if you want to, support the podcast, you can. You can go to www.patreon.com/downdirection for $5 a month. You get access to our Discord, where we're always talking about everything from clothes to movies.
Broke boats.
And you also get to hear our bonus episodes, which are normally about movies, but this one you get for free. Well, this is not out of the archive. This is a actual mainline episode. You'll get a regular
This is
movie
a
one.
regular episode.
Yeah, you'll get an actual movie one shortly after this one. I don't know what movie we're watching yet, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, you get that for $10 a month. You get access to all of that and the added bonus of us saying your name. And we also thank you in every blog post, or at least I do, because I write the blog. But MJ, who are we thanking?
We're thanking our Sadcast fanatics: Shane Curry, Philip Quickard, Henrik Wilberg, and Alexander Batten.
We appreciate
right.
you guys so much.
Sure do.
Lots of good episodes for the end of this year. Hope you guys enjoyed the Banff episode, which came out before this. And yeah, some other cool stuff. We actually made space for this because we thought it was important enough to have its own episode. This was originally
right.
not going to be on the mainline schedule, so you should love us forever.
Thank
I
you.
think that's it. Check out the show notes on Style and Direction. Not really, sorry. You guys check out the show notes on my blog, alittlebitrest.com.
That's
You can
right.
follow the podcast at Style and Direction. You can follow me at Ethan M. Wong.
I'm at Spencer DSO.
I'm at Aya MJ.
And we'll see you guys next time, unless the bomb destroys everything.
Who knows?
Hey, Einstein, did you remember when I gave you those calculations about...
I'm thinking of a number.
Yes, I remember it well. What of it?
Yeah.
I believe
It's
we
2,
have.
darling.
Near zero.
Just wait for our episode on Maestro,
Mashup.
which I think comes out in December or whatever. We're gonna
Oh,
cover
there you
that
go.
movie.
We're definitely doing. I'm thinking of a number right now. I don't know what number I'm thinking of.
69?
It's just a phrase I'm thinking. There you go. Yeah.
There it
69
is, baby.
420, baby.
Yeah, didn't Bernstein like cheat on his wife a bunch? I don't know. He's like
With
he's a little
guys?
bit of a fucker.
Well, no, that's like he was a gay man. He was married, but he was also a gay man.
Oh, I did not know that.
Really?
I don't know why I didn't know that. That's actually crazy.
Okay. I thought you were making a joke, but yeah.
No, I was I did not know this. Should I scroll down to his thing here? This is
Yeah, but
crazy.
go to personal life.
Okay, scrolling to personal social activism, audio recordings. No, okay, I guess not. Okay, it's not there.
I guess he was bisexual. Throughout his life, Bernstein had affairs with both women and men.
What a king.
Progressive.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway,
Yeah, we'll see. Well,
Um,
hey, we'll talk about Lenny when it comes time to that. So keep an eye out for that bonus episode. You'll have to join the Discord for that one.
Whoa.
Mhm.
I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.